Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 66th Foundation of IIT Kanpur. We are about to begin the program shortly. I request everyone to kindly keep your mobiles on silent or flight mode. I request everyone to kindly settle down. Please avoid any kind of movement in the hall during the event. And we request all the members of media to kindly take their seats in the balcony. Thank you. I request all the attendees to kindly settle down. Please keep your mobiles on silent or flight mode. And please avoid any kind of movement in the hall during the event. Namaskar. I request everyone to kindly settle down, please. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our esteemed guests present here today. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Professor Manindra Agrawal, Director IIT Kanpur, and the entire institute community, I, Shweta Kumar, would like to extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Sri Adil Zainul Bhai, Chairperson, Board of Governors, IIT Ropar and IIT Goa. We also welcome members of the Board of Governors, the Academic Senate, our distinguished alumni, faculty, staff, students, well-wishers, including the press, and those who are joining us virtually from around the world. As the saying goes, Shanahi Pantha, Shanahi Kantha, Shanahi Parvat Mastakam, Shanahi Vidya, Shanahi Vittam, Panchatani, Shanahi Shanahi. The path is walked step by step. The cloth is woven thread by thread. The mountain is scaled slowly, and the wealth and knowledge are gained gradually. All great things are accomplished Shanahi Shanahi, step by step. This timeless Sanskrit wisdom beautifully captures our collective journey over the past 66 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to share that the 2nd of November 2025 marks a remarkable milestone, the completion of 66 glorious years since the establishment of IIT Kanpur. We celebrate this momentous occasion as our Institute Foundation Day, a day of reflection, pride, and inspiration as we honor our rich legacy. It reminds us that every enduring achievement is born out of steady effort, patience, and perseverance. Each milestone, each success is attained Shanahi Shanahi, step by step. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause as we celebrate the 66th Foundation Day of IIT Kanpur. Thank you. On behalf of the Institute, I would also like to congratulate and extend a warm welcome to the Institute Fellow, the distinguished alumni, the distinguished services, and the young alumni awardees. We are privileged to have on the stage Professor Manindra Agrawal, Director IIT Kanpur, Professor Brij Bhushan, Deputy Director IIT Kanpur, Professor Jiten Bera, Dean of Faculty Affairs, and Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, IIT Kanpur. I would now humbly request all the dignitaries present on stage to kindly step forward for the ceremonial lighting of lamp, which symbolizes knowledge and wisdom. Om Shubham Karoti Kalyanam Arogyam Dhan Sampada Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute. Since ancient times, the people of Bharat have observed the sacred custom of lighting of lamp at the commencement of any auspicious occasion. Light, or Jyoti, is revered as a symbol of knowledge, prosperity, and abundance, a guiding force that leads us from ignorance to truth, dispelling darkness and filling our hearts with energy, optimism, and joy. Thank you, sir. Another important tradition at IIT Kanpur that we follow is to invoke Ma Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to grace this auspicious occasion with her blessings through a Saraswati Vandana. Following this tradition, I call upon Mrs. Renu Chavan to kindly come up on stage and recite the Vandana.
1 2 3 1 2 1 अर्चनातुं वन्दनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं अर्चनातुं वन्दनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं सरस्वती साहित्य सौष्ठव की स्वयं अभिव्यञ्जनातुं अर्चनातुं वन्दनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं नाद हो तुम ताल हो तुम मंद्र मध्यम ताल हो तुम षड्ज भी गंधार भी तुम परिसरस सुखद निधमा ठाठ हो तुम ही सप्तक वादी और विवादी रंजक राग हो संपूर्ण शाडव ग्राम हो तुम मूर्छना तुम अर्चना तुम वन्दनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं सरस्वती साहित्य सौष्ठव की स्वयं अभिव्यञ्जनातुं अर्चनातुं वन्दनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं शब्दतुं स्वरसाधनातुं.
Thank you, Mrs. Chavan. I would now humbly request Professor Manindra Agrawal, Director IIT Kanpur, to kindly give the welcome address.
Good afternoon and a very warm greetings of Foundation Day to everyone. We are privileged to have our chief guest, Shri Adil Zainul Bhai, Chairperson Board of Governors of IIT Ropar and IIT Goa, amongst us today. We also have Professor Braj Bhushan, Deputy Director, Professor Jitin Behra, Dean Faculty, and Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, on the dais, accompanying the chief guest. And all the distinguished and prominent alumni of the Institute who are sitting right in front of all of us, the Institute Fellow awardees, present and past. I can see more than a few of past awardees also amongst us. the Distinguished Service Award winners, the distinguished or the Young Alumni Award winners, and all of their family members, or our institute community members, including faculty, staff, students. There are many who are joining this event virtually through the live stream of this event being done. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to the 66th Foundation Day ceremony of the Institute. It's a day that marks not just the establishment of the Institute, which happened on 2nd of November 1959. It's also a day to look back and acknowledge the journey we have undertaken so far and look forward to the continuation of this journey of knowledge, innovation, and producing bright young minds for the future. My heartiest congratulations to all the awardees of today, the Institute Fellow awardees, the Distinguished Alumni awardees, the Distinguished Service awardees, and the Young Alumni awardees. Your achievements continue to make us immensely proud, and this is just a small acknowledgement of all that you have achieved and will achieve in future. As I welcome you to this event, I also want to take a few minutes to look back a little in the past of last 1 year, what has happened in the Institute, and share that with you. In the past 1 year, we have had some good achievements. We established the Wadhwani School of Artificial Intelligence and Intelligent Systems, which is funded partly by Wadhwani Foundation. The aim of the school is to create scalable, high-impact solutions using the AI tools that we have available today and create new tools for it. We have also established a Center for Education, Research and Teaching Excellence, nicknamed CERTEX, with the aim of reviewing the methodology of teaching, the contents of our teaching for students, and suggest improvements to that. Help the young faculty to master the task of communicating with our students, and come up with new methodologies or new pedagogy for engaging with students. We have also created another center, which is Interface Office for Technology and Applications, nicknamed IOTA, with a charter to help our faculty and students to take the technology that they have developed in their labs to a solution on the ground. And the journey that one needs to make in this endeavor is quite non-trivial, and most of our faculty and students are not trained for doing that, and that's where this office is aiming to step in and hold them all the way through. Now, we have a lot of our distinguished alumni present here, and I just want to share and acknowledge the contribution that alumni continue to make in the growth of the Institute. We recently reached out to a number of our most prominent alumni and made a request to them to join Directors Advisory Council to help the Institute charter its growth path for the future and do a continuous supervision and help us in achieving our targets. Actually, first help us setting our targets and then achieving them. And I'm glad to share with you that everyone we requested has readily agreed to help, and we recently had the first meeting of it, an extremely fruitful meeting. A lot of recommendations have come out of it, which we are now planning to implement. One of the ambitious goals we set for ourselves was, and this we did last year, to raise 5,000 crore rupees over the next 3-4 years to substantially expand the infrastructure at the institute, as well as nucleate very impactful new programs. This has received tremendous support from everywhere, including our alumni, and we today have nearly 50% of the money committed, including 11% of it coming from our alumni. So I just want to thank everyone who has come forward to help us, and we look forward to more support in future. It's also gratifying to know that in the last 1 year, the number of alumni who have engaged with us through various events like reunions, the Karma event, and other meetings has more than doubled over the previous years. So this again shows the increasing interest and stake of alumni with the institute. I just want to express my gratitude to everyone who has been helping us through our journey. And finally, I wish everyone a very happy Foundation Day. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Professor Agrawal to kindly present a memento to our chief guest, Shri Adil Zainulbhai. Thank you, sir. I would now request Professor Brijbhushan to kindly introduce and invite our chief guest to address the gathering.
Shri Adil Zainulbhai was the chairman of the Capacity Building Commission of India, CBC, which was set up by the Honorable Prime Minister of India in April 2021. He also serves as the chairperson, Board of Governors at IIT Ropar and IIT Goa. He served as the chairman of the Quality Council of India from 2014 to 2022. His board memberships include Network 18, Reliance Retail, and Cipla. As chairman CBC, he led the commission in executing the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, Mission Karm Yogi, to help each civil servant have the training and tools needed to deliver performance for the citizens of India. CBC is currently working on upgrading the 750 central training institutions, helping each ministry develop a capability building plan, CBP, and creating an annual civil services report. CBC is leading large-scale efforts to embed citizen centricity into each civil servant, and early programs include working with railways to train 1 lakh citizen-facing employees to become more citizen-centric. The program is being expanded to postal workers, police forces, and others. As chairman QCI, Sri Zainulbhai was involved in many initiatives across the government to improve quality of goods and services and the efficiency of government processes. He helped in measuring Swachh Bharat and other flagship government schemes in various sectors such as infrastructure, healthcare, education, and coal. Sri Zainulbhai retired as chairman of McKinsey India in 2013 after 34 years at McKinsey. Recently, Sri Zainulbhai co-edited the book Reimagining India, which featured 60 authors including prominent businessmen, academics, economists, authors, and journalists. He grew up in Bombay and graduated in mechanical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai. He has also an MBA from Harvard Business School. Sri Janul Bhai is very active in community and social causes. He is a board member of the Piramal Swasth, Piramal Foundation, and Anand National University, and other foundations. In his spare time, he enjoys sailing in Mumbai Harbour. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our chief guest, Sri Adil Janul Bhai.
Respected Director, Deputy Director, professors, alumni, distinguished alumni, distinguished fellows, and my friends in the audience. As I look out over the people who are getting awards today as distinguished alumni, I'm wondering why you asked me to speak. You have such phenomenal people sitting over here, but I do want to talk about a couple of things. So let me start out with a story about two of my favorite professors. Since there are many professors here, let me start out with a story about two of my favorite professors. Some of you might know them, but many might not, and I would encourage you to find out about them. The first is Professor Robert Langer. Anyone's heard of Professor Robert Langer? Amit knows everyone. So, Professor Robert Langer is an institute professor at MIT. He's 80 years old, and he's a prolific entrepreneur known as the Edison of medicine. He was involved in the discovery of CRISPR, if you remember, which is to cut genes, etc. And what he has done in drug delivery systems and biomedical engineering has led to over 1,400 granted or pending patents, which have been licensed to more than 400 pharmaceutical and biotech companies. But one of the things that I really like about him, in addition to all of this, is that he has launched over 40 companies, and over 150 of his students have started companies. Of course, he's gotten a little bit of value out of this. So I want you to think in your mind, don't say anything, about how much value he has created for himself. Professor Langer is worth $1.4 billion, and he was one of the founders of Moderna, if you remember, is the one that created the mRNA vaccine. So that's Professor Langer at MIT. I also want to talk about Professor Cheriton, David Cheriton, who is Professor Emeritus at Stanford University, has started something like 60 companies, and was one of the first investors to give $100,000 to Google. Some of you who have calculators with many zeros might now calculate how much that 100,000 is worth. But I haven't been able to find another professor who's worth more than Professor Cheriton so far. He's worth about $12.5 billion. I'm not sure I'll ever be invited back to IIT Kanpur. I said, you should give me this gift after you hear my speech, but you gave it to me before. But I would hope that 10 to 15 years from now, when we are talking about the foundation day of IIT Kanpur, that IIT Kanpur has played a similar kind of a role in the development of the country, in the development of our technology, and in the development of individuals. I would love to say, I don't know if this will be true, but Professor X, whoever the X is probably a young student here at this stage, has in fact created an industry in which India is dominant, and in which India, for India, which was critical for achieving Viksit Bharat 2047. That is what I would hope. So I'm not going to go through, I have a long list of things that IIT Kanpur has done, which of course I'm sure all of you are familiar with. I'll say a few of them. But what I really wanted to talk about today is, what should we be doing going ahead? How do you build on something that you have achieved so far to make it truly unique in the world. And so that's what I would like to challenge all of you who are here to help make IIT into that. And the alumni, professors, students, the government all have a really important role to play in that. But before I go into that, I just want to acknowledge that IIT Kanpur has done an amazing job in terms of what it has created. Number one, it was the first in India to implement the semester system, credit-based evaluation, and integrate humanities into the engineering curricula. IIT Kanpur has created holistic education to prepare generations not only as engineers, but as thoughtful citizens. Today, with over 9,500 students and a diverse, accomplished faculty of 570 members across 20 departments and interdisciplinary centers, IIT Kanpur nurtures creativity, critical thinking, and responsibility. In research and innovation, I was very pleased today to be able to visit the C3I Hub and several other centers here. And it was great to see the kind of work that is being done there in terms of translating research and innovation to market. Of course, IIT Kanpur is ranked globally in the QS World Rankings. Its alumni include 20 plus Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan recipients, some of whom are here, and 30 plus Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar laureates, which is an enormous alumni base. Alumni are shaping technology, business, academia, not just here, but around the world. I was telling someone that if you make a list of the 500 senior most researchers in AI today in the US, forget China because we don't really know who all are there. Out of the 500, I think about 100 are from India. And several of the CEOs and the number 2 head of R&D, etc., are from IITs. So I think IIT Kanpur has created a tremendous alumni base. Now we have to use that to create all of that for India. And that is what I'm going to talk about. So congratulations. You have great laurels, but you can't rest on them. So what do I want to talk about in terms of how IIT should think about going forward? So number one is, Honorable Prime Minister has laid out a very, very aggressive target for India, which is Viksit Bharat. I think many of you may have had a chance to look at what is in Viksit Bharat, but the goals in Viksit Bharat for science, technology, innovation, and leadership in technologies are really massive. We want to be among the leaders in at least 8 to 10 technologies globally by the time we get there. Otherwise, we can't achieve it. So the targets are very high, and obviously institutions like IIT and IIT Kanpur in particular have to play a critical role in it. I think if we take 10 of those technologies, IIT Kanpur should be the leader in at least half of them. Not just a player, but a leader in at least half of them. So I think first, some very clear goals are laid out in Viksit Bharat, and IIT Kanpur should play a leading role in some of the critical technologies where India should lead the world. Today we are following in many areas, but I think our goal in 2047 should be to lead the world in those technologies. And I think IIT Kanpur and the other IITs should be doing that. Number 2 is elevating research and innovation. Reason I gave you the example of Professor Langer, as well as Professor David, is that they were not only outstanding researchers and outstanding teachers, but they created entire industries and they lifted the economic activity in the area around where they work. So if you look at MIT and Boston and all the towns around Boston, one of the reasons it has done so well is because of MIT and people like Professor Langer. And Silicon Valley, I don't need to talk to you about that. So when are we going to see Kanpur as the biotech or Silicon Valley of India? I think that's something that we should aspire to lift the entire area. I now understand that the road infrastructure is improved enough that you can drive from, Mr. Awasthi was telling me that you can drive from Lucknow to Kanpur, and all sorts of other infrastructure will be in place so you can drive everywhere. So now you're connected to everything. And I think we should really think about how can IIT Kanpur become a center of economic activity, especially in new industries and new areas for India. And it will lift the entire region. So my second point is we should lift the region and lift the industries. The third thing I would say is, can we today I saw several of the innovation centers at IIT Kanpur, and I was very impressed with the work that's being done in many areas, including biotechnology and cybersecurity and others. And I kept asking how much of that is getting converted into companies and into real economic activity around here. And I was very happy to learn that some 50 companies have been started, which I think is terrific. So the next question asked is, how much are they worth? And, have you added to the GDP of this area? And, when can I talk about a professor who has hit the 1,000 crore, barrier? So I think that is still something to be achieved. But I think today, research for research's sake alone, unless it is converted into use for India, not just in high technology, but also into our social problems, doesn't fulfill the full value of research. Also, it's moving so fast. In the past, you could do some research, and 10 years later, if it converted into a product, that's fine. I don't know any of you work in cybersecurity or AI. The distance between research and a product is now down to days. It's not even years, it's down to days. So you can't even do good research unless you can think about how it's going to be used. So I would encourage IIT Kanpur to take the lead in this and create this ecosystem whereby you are really developing things that are usable right away. I think in cybersecurity, we are talking about the fact that you have to come up with solutions in 10 days. Otherwise, the next version of the hacker will actually break into your system. So given that, I think one of the goals should be, how can IIT Kanpur really take the lead in not converting, but in terms of integrating research, development, product, and economic activity. So I'm not going to give you any more lofty goals. I think you already have many of them. So I will just end with saying, congratulations to IIT Kanpur for having achieved a phenomenal 66 years and phenomenal impact in 66 years. But I think the next 10 or 20 years, we have to achieve an order of magnitude more than that to really reach for the stars, as they say. So I wish you all of the best. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I look forward to seeing the results of over the next 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, IIT Kanpur's achievements, innovations, and milestones are brought to life not only by its vision and infrastructure, but by the people who carry its legacy forward. Yah kulasya yasho vahati duram vidyanubhaven tasmai namo namo vayam kulratnaya te mahan. A person who carries the glory of the institution far and wide through their light of knowledge to such distinguished gems of the institute, we offer our deepest respect and admiration. These lines perfectly define our next segment, where I would like to request Professor Jiten Bera, Dean of Faculty Affairs, to kindly come forward and give a brief introduction about the Institute Fellow.
Honorable Chief Guest Sri Adil Jainul Bhai, Director IIT Kanpur Professor Maninda Agrawal, Deputy Director Professor Brajbhushan, Dean of Resources and Alumni Professor Amay Karkare, dear awardees, dear alumni, colleagues and students, ladies and gentlemen. The Institute Fellow Award, established by IIT Kanpur in 2005, is to recognize and honor the contributions of those individuals who have significantly contributed to the overall growth of the institute, which in turn have impacted Indian societies in the fields of education, academics, and industry, and have brought laurels and glory for the institute and the nation.
I would now request Professor T.V. Prabhakar to kindly come up on stage and Professor Bera to kindly read the citation of the Institute Fellow.
It is my distinct pleasure to read the citation for Institute Fellow for the year 2024. Professor Tadinada Venkata Prabhakar served as a faculty member in the Computer Science and Engineering Department at IIT Kanpur from 1986 until superannuating as faculty emeritus in 2022. This nearly 4-decade-long tenure delivered advancements of national importance to areas such as web-scale online education, multilingual technologies for agricultural applications, and heritage preservation. An alumnus of IIT Kanpur CAC and EE departments, Professor Prabhakar is best known for anticipating the potential of online education and developing the MOOC management system, MOOCit. Innovations in program design and UI/EX have made MOOCit highly adaptable and host-friendly. It was a MOOCit-based platform that enabled IIT Kanpur to continue pedagogical activities during the COVID pandemic. MOOCit has been used by over 2,000 courses globally, and it is still widely used at IIT Kanpur. Professor Prabhakar also conceptualized and led IIT Kanpur's online e-masters degree program. Professor Prabhakar has aggressively championed technology accessibility, safeguarding the development of the widely used AgroTagger, Agropedia, AG MOOCs, virtual KVK, and digital Mandi portals that made time-critical information accessible to farmers in their native languages. He developed the Mobi MOOCs platform, which pioneered the conduct of online courses using feature phones and extended coverage to those without access to smartphones or high bandwidth connection. He also implemented the PK Kelkar Libraries automation system in 1988 and coordinated the Media Technology Center. A beloved teacher and a sought-after mentor, Professor Prabhakar supervised 7 PhD theses, over 160 master's theses, and introduced cutting-edge courses on architecting for the cloud, MOOCs, web technologies, and object-oriented modeling. Professor Prabhakar's achievements have been recognized by several awards, including the 1989 Batch Faculty Award in 2019 and the 2019 Test of Time Award at the Innovations in Software Engineering Conference, the 2016 Teaching Innovator Award by the MHRD, and the 2012 Agriculture Leadership Award. In recognition of his contribution to this institute and to the nation as an educator, researcher, innovator, and administrator, IIT Kanpur takes immense pride in honoring Professor Prabhakar as an institute fellow.
I would now request Professor Manindra Agrawal and Professor Brij Bhushan to kindly felicitate Professor T.V. Prabhakar. So, please join them. I would now request Professor Prabhakar to kindly read the acceptance speech.
Namaskar. Let me confess, after 40 years of teaching, I'm still nervous facing an audience. So it's wonderful to be back home. This is home for me. I've been here for 45 years and all my adult life was here. I'm especially delighted to have many of my teachers, mentors. Professor Biswas is there, R.N. Biswas. He played such a major role in this work that I have done, including giving me 7486 TTL chips to the library automation project, which he initiated as Dean of Research and Development. I see several of the engineers who did all the actual hard work, and as a true professor, I take the credit. At the outset, I want to make very clear what I am standing here for actually represents the spirit of IITK. IITK has this bad habit of doing everything themselves. It's way back in 1966, they realized they have a computer, so let us start with payrolls. I understand that's how the IT thing came in. And I often wondered, where does this, interest in wanting to do kind of things like assembling their own PCs has come into this institute. And I realized actually it comes out of a sense of ownership. There is so much sense of belonging here that ghar ka kaam khud karenge kind of feeling that comes in. So I think I want to clearly state all the work that I have done actually is a joint effort of starting from the institute administration, the visionaries of this institute like R&B, K.R. Sharma, H.S. Mani, who have been my major mentors, to the students who have done all the hard work, to the engineers who have actually done the work. It's a complete joint effort. So with regards to the work itself, essentially I'm an engineer at heart and I like to play with technology. And Kanpur gave me a wonderful platform to do that, to experiment and also to take it outside to some national level or even international level. The second compulsion, if I can use the word, is I was teaching courses in databases, software engineering and architecture like that. And I realized I can't teach software engineering unless I do software engineering. So I needed to practice some of it to be able to stand in front of the audience and talk about how to architect some software. So that sort of made me build the software that I was making. And in terms of what I will do, as the theme that I sort of followed is, can we build industrial strength software in an academic institute? So that was the question I used to pursue as a builder here. And I think I have some answers and some insight and some examples of what we have done as well. I also used to say I would evaluate myself at the end of each semester. Have I learned anything? And I would say, if I haven't, in the last 2 semesters, if I haven't learned nothing new, I will leave IITK. It so happens that I did not leave IITK, and as you can see, I'm back. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to once again congratulate Professor Prabhakar and take this opportunity to express our gratitude for his immense contribution and service to the Institute, and continue to look for guidance and encouragement from him in future as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate the spirit of striving and success, it's now time to honor those whose achievements have brought glory to their alma mater. I would now request Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, to give a brief introduction about the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais, all the award winners, their family, and all the people who are present here. It is my privilege to introduce the Distinguished Alumni Award, a tradition that celebrates the pride and excellence of IIT Kanpur. The Distinguished Alumni Award were instituted in 1989. They are the highest honor conferred by IIT Kanpur upon its alumni. It celebrates those who have brought glory to their alma mater through their exemplary achievements, leadership, and service to the society. Every year, the Institute joins hands with its global alumni community to recognize individuals who have excelled in their fields, whether in academia, industry, entrepreneurship, management, or through selfless service to humanity at large. Since its inception, a total of 199 alumni have been honored with the Distinguished Alumni Award till last year. So this year we have crossed 200. And each of these alumni is a shining example of IIT Kanpur's legacy of excellence and service. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. For our first recipient of DA, I would request Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Professor Venkateshan Sundaresan.
Professor Venkateshan Sundaresan, a recent recipient of the Wolf Prize in Agriculture and an elected member of the National Academy of Sciences, USA, is a distinguished professor of plant biology and plant sciences at the University of California, Davis. He has made seminal contributions across various fields of plant biology. His research interest and expertise encompass embryo sac development, zygotic transition, pluripotency factors, apomixis, and genomics of host microbiome interactions. After receiving his BSc in Physics from University of Pune, MSc in Physics from IIT Kanpur, MS in Physics from Carnegie Mellon University, PhD in Biophysics at Harvard University, and postdoctoral research at Harvard and UC Berkeley, he was invited by James Watson to head a research group as an independent investigator at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. In 1996, he became the founding director of the then called Institute of Molecular Agrobiology in Singapore, which quickly became an internationally leading institute in the plant and microbial sciences. During his tenure as a professor at UC Davis, he has also held appointments as chair of the Department of Plant Biology and as program director of the BREAD program, a collaboration between the National Science Foundation and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He has served on the editorial boards of Genetics, Plant Reproduction, The Plant Cell, and Trends in Plant Science. His lab generated the first library of sequence gene insertion mutants, enabling rapid testing of gene function via reverse genetics, first in Arabidopsis and then in rice. Their work includes host microbiome interactions in roots, seeking to uncover how they promote plant growth and drought tolerance. Recently, his lab discovered the molecular mechanisms by which fertilized eggs in plants from embryos and used these findings to make hybrid crops that can provide high yields in perpetuity, thus achieving a long-sought goal in agriculture. Through these studies, they aim to enhance crop resilience and productivity, contributing to sustainable agriculture and food security. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of functional genomics, plant reproduction, and plant microbiomes, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Venkateshan Sundaresan the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025. Professor Sundaresan could not join us today due to prior commitments. I now request the media coordinator to play his acceptance speech.
Distinguished guests, IIT professors, and students, I'm very grateful to receive this great honor from my alma mater, IITK. I remember the time many years ago when I first got my offer of admission from IIT Kanpur. I was so excited then. And I spoke to one of my seniors, and he said, okay, be prepared to work very hard. Just to get a B, you will have to work like a pig. If you want an A, you will have to work like two pigs. So I said to him, what exactly does a pig work like? And he said, Just come to IIT Kanpur. You'll find out how big works. So, well, I joined and I found out. And I had to work harder than I had ever done in my life before. And yet it was strangely stimulating and not at all draining. And that was mainly because of the great professors we had and the amazing classmates and fellow students. We'd all sort of try to learn the material together, help each other out to understand all these difficult concepts and complexities of these equations that we were learning at the time. And they all also went on to be successful in their various careers later. So really, this was a transformative experience, my time at IIT Kanpur, and I look back fondly on it. I'm happy that IIT-K continues to remain at the forefront of science and technology in India and in the world. This honor really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Professor Amey Karkare to read out the citation for Professor Arijit Bose.
Professor Arijit Bose is a distinguished professor of engineering in the Department of Chemical, Biomolecular and Materials Engineering at the University of Rhode Island, Kingston. His research encompasses the development of energy storage materials with a focus on endurance, safety, and compactness, nanoparticle nanostructured material synthesis characterization, and deployment in practical problems, as well as self-assembly dynamics and thermodynamics of soft materials. He received his B.Tech in Chemical Engineering from IIT Kanpur and a PhD from University of Rochester. He joined URI in 1982 after 2 years at DuPont and served as chair of the Department of Chemical Engineering at URI from 2004 to 2009. He has been a visiting scientist at MIT, a visiting research fellow at Cabot Corporation, a visiting fellow at University of California, Berkeley. At IIT Kanpur, he serves as a distinguished visiting professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering and as an advisory board member in the Kotak School of Sustainability. Professor Bose has published more than 150 papers, which have been cited over 9,000 times. He has twice received URI's Vincent and Estelle Murphy Award for outstanding research. He has 9 US patents and has twice received URI's Intellectual Property Award. Along with colleagues at University of California, Berkeley and Stanford University, he co-founded Audience Inc. in 2019 to develop safe, long-endurance, anatomically sized batteries for powering active implantable medical devices, as well as other niche applications. Professor Bose has always chosen problems with relevance to the industry. He and his collaborators pioneered the use of cryo-electron microscopy to study solutions of surfactants and polymers, now being used in consumer products. He showed how nanoparticles can be deployed for stabilizing emulsions, useful for mitigating ocean oil spills. His work on battery focuses on developing solutions for significant issues facing the industry today, including safety, endurance, and supply chain stability. However, he is most proud of the graduate and undergraduate students he has advised, many of whom are making a major impact in their own careers. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of colloidal sciences, self-assembly, and energy storage materials, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Arijit Bose the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025. Professor Bose also could not join us today, so I now request the media coordinator to play his acceptance speech.
I am deeply honored and humbled to receive this recognition, especially considering all those that have received it before me. My fellow 2025 awardees, congratulations to you all and those that will follow. I grew up in Kanpur. My father had overall responsibility for building the Panki power station, which in those days at least supplied electricity to the institute. And I remember visiting the campus many times as it was being built. My cousin's husband, Uday Bose, was a 1968 graduate of IIT Kanpur. My cousin Bikash Rai Mahashay was a long-time professor of civil engineering in the institute. My brother Ranabir and my cousin Arindam joined IIT Kanpur in 1970. In many ways, I always knew I should go to IIT Kanpur, and I followed in 1971, as did another cousin, Abhijit Mitra. I stayed in Hall 2E52 in my first year. Something about the water there may be, but 54 years later I can say, Hall 2 residents, you are and always will be the best. Today, I'm privileged to be reconnected with the Institute through an appointment in the excellent Department of Chemical Engineering and the Kotak School of Sustainability. Life does not move in a straight line. There will be highs and lows and unanticipated challenges. There are lessons that I learned in the 5 years at IIT Kanpur that helped me navigate this reality. First, humility. I learned this on the hockey field. Our institute team had practiced intensely for the inter-IIT meet, and to give us confidence before we embarked for the meet, we arranged a game with the UP schoolboys. These were 14 and 15-year-olds. The score midway through the second half was 8-0, not in our favor. Their coach asked for a timeout and told the kids to stop scoring to save us from further embarrassment. I have encountered many UP schoolboys teams over the years, and so will you. Confidence is important, overconfidence is not. Number 2, resilience. I learned to stand up after going down, such as after the first midterm in fluid mechanics, ESC 315, where we got introduced to a nonlinear differential equation, the famous Navier-Stokes equation, and I was stunned, but I recovered. There have been many ESC 315s in my life, and I always think back to that experience to get strength. By resilience, I also mean the ability to get back on the ground from a high after a grand success. That is equally important. Number 3, critical thinking. Life is full of ambiguities, and you must embrace them. There is often not a single answer, even in science and technology. Open-ended problems where the thought process was more important than the solution is something I really appreciated at IIT. Ambiguity is reality. As Yogi Berra, a legendary manager of the New York Yankees baseball team, said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Along with many of you here, I had the privilege of attending one of the finest institutions in the world. The education I received, both in and out of the classroom, has had a lasting impact on me. Recognition from our alma mater is and will remain my most cherished honor. The award really belongs to my family, my collaborators, my professors, my dear friends, and my students. They have taught me much more than I can ever teach them, and I dedicate the award to them.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Dr. Rema Padman to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Dr. Rema Padman.
Dr. Rema Padman is Trustees Professor of Management Science and Healthcare Informatics in the Haynes College of Information Systems and Public Policy at Carnegie Mellon University. She is also Thrust Leader of Healthcare Informatics Research at iLab and Adjunct Professor in the Department of Biomedical Informatics at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. She received BTech in Chemical Engineering from IIT Kanpur, MS in Operations Research from the University of Texas, Dallas, PhD in Operations Research from the University of Texas at Austin, and National Library of Medicine Senior Fellowship in Applied Informatics from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine as an individual National Research Service Award. Dr. Padman's research investigates healthcare analytics, informatics, operations, and processes for data-driven decision support in the context of clinical and consumer-facing information technology interventions in healthcare delivery and management. Her recent focus on artificial intelligence for health literacy develops and evaluates digital therapeutic approaches for health literacy for adults and children globally. She has trained over 30 PhD students and postdoctoral scholars, authored over 300 papers, and advises healthcare informatics and analytics projects for provider, payer, pharmaceuticals, consulting, foundations, and non-profit organizations. She has received numerous awards for research and teaching, including the inaugural Buffalini Prize for AI in Medicine 2023, named after one of the most influential 19th century clinicians in Italy. And she has also received 2022 Transformation Solutions New Frontiers Award, a World Bank Group Transformational Business Award for the Digital Vaccine Project. She has been recognized as one of the top women in MedTech and nominated for the Most Influential Women in Health IT Award. She is an elected fellow of the American Medical Informatics Association. Honoring her stellar contributions in the fields of operations research, information systems, and healthcare, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Rima Padman the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request Sri Adil Zalunbhai, Professor Manindra Agrawal, and Professor Bhushan to kindly felicitate Dr. Rima Padman. I would now request Dr. Rima Padman to kindly give acceptance speech.
Namaste, everyone. Can you see me as well as hear me? I'm a little vertically challenged. So let me start by congratulating all the distinguished alumni awardees this year and in past years. What an amazing group I'm privileged to join. Standing here today at IIT Kanpur fills me with immense gratitude and humility. This is a place that shaped who I am today. I came here decades ago, a young undergraduate from faraway Kerala. I was excited, I was ambitious, but uncertain, and very far from home. It was the friendships I forged with my classmates, especially those in the girls' hostel, and connections with so many professors and mentors who helped me find my footing, encouraged me to ask questions, to think independently, and to believe in myself. At IIT Kanpur, I learned one of life's most enduring lessons, that perseverance matters as much and perhaps more than brilliance. Success rarely arrives in a straight line. It comes from staying the course when things get difficult. That lesson has stayed with me ever since I graduated from here. Those same values were reinforced during my years at the University of Texas and the university at both at Dallas and Austin, where I completed my PhD in operations research. I learned there, as I had here, that persistence, intellectual curiosity, and humility are what sustain good work and good science. For the past 36 years, my professional home has been Carnegie Mellon University, a place that celebrates interdisciplinary inquiry. It was there that I discovered my passion for healthcare research. That experience opened my eyes to what happens when engineers, computer scientists, physicians, and social scientists come together to solve problems that truly matter. If there's one message I've taken from this journey, it's this: be passionate about what you do, focus on the process, the outcomes will take care of themselves, just as the Bhagavad Gita reminds us. I'm deeply honored and humbled to be part of the 2025 class of distinguished alumni of IIT Kanpur. This recognition means a great deal because it comes from the place that gave me my start. Thank you to my professors, my friends, my students, my extended family, and especially to my mother, who is truly excited to be here today and has asked me to convey her blessings to everyone. I'm not sure that there are too many 95-year-olds who are able to attend such an event. My parents never questioned why I wanted to attend IITK. So far away from Kerala, they just knew it was an opportunity not to miss. Last but not least, thanks to my husband, Ramaya Krishnan, whose DAA from IIT Madras we celebrated a few years ago, and our children, Divya and Deepak, whose love, encouragement, and support have anchored and sustained me through the years. My deep and grateful thanks to IIT Kanpur for lighting that spark all those years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now request Sri Avnish Kumar Awasthi to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Sri Avnish Kumar Awasthi.
Shri Avnish Kumar Awasthi is currently serving as an advisor to Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. He is a former Additional Chief Secretary, Home, Confidential, Visa, Passport, Jail Administration and Reform and Vigilance Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh, and Chief Executive Officer, Uttar Pradesh Expressways Industrial Development Authority and Uttar Pradesh State Highways Authority. He hails from Kanpur and did his BTech in Electrical Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1985. In a career spanning over 35 years, Shri Awasthi, an IAS officer of the 1987 batch, has mostly served in energy, tourism, higher education, irrigation, institutional finance, industrial development, home departments, and handled important assignments including Joint Secretary, Union Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment in the Department of Disability Affairs, Chairman and Managing Director, UP Power Corporation Limited, CEO, Noida, Principal Secretary, Tourism and ACS Information. He was also the District Magistrate and Collector of Lalitpur, Ajamgarh, Badaयूं, Ayodhya, Varanasi, Meerut, and Gorakhpur districts. He is prominently known for his pioneering work done for the upliftment of disabled persons during his stint as Joint Secretary in the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. As CEO of UP Expressway Authority, he ensured the completion of Purvanchal and Bundelkhand expressways in the state and started the construction of 594-kilometer long Ganga Expressway, the largest single infrastructure project of the state. As the Home Secretary of the state, he very actively contributed to the upgradation and modernization of the UP police and ensured an effective law and order machinery for the state. He is currently working on the $1 trillion economy project of Uttar Pradesh. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of public administration, infrastructure and policy leadership, and social and institutional development, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Avnish Kumar Awasthi the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request Sri Adil Zalunbhai, Professor Manindra Agrawal, and Professor Bhushan to kindly felicitate Sri Avnish Kumar Awasthi. I would now request Shri Avnish Kumar Awasthi to kindly give acceptance speech.
It is tough to give an acceptance speech, but it's a emotional moment for me. I lost my father very recently, and it is he who ensured that three of us, three brothers, were all engineers from IITs and electrical engineers. So first of all, I would like to remember my father here today. My mother is here. My wife is here. My son, my daughter, my son-in-law, and of course, my grandson is here. And I would like to, first of all, thank all my family members for getting me into this life of doing work for the nation. I would like to thank IIT Kanpur. I would like to thank all my professors. I would like to thank all my colleagues, friends who worked with us to ensure that we are part of the nation and we are constructive part of the nation. I would like to thank Professor Manindra. We worked together during COVID, where under the guidance of our Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ji, we managed the entire oxygen supply to the state. And that was one of the most critical moments for us in the entire COVID campaign. And it is to his credit and to IIT Kanpur's credit that not a single hospital in our state was short of oxygen. And it was only because of the work which was done by IIT Kanpur. I have been all over the place in our state. I have been part of the power sector. I have been part of the road sector. And the very first question which was asked when I appeared for my interview at the UPSC, the then member, he is of course no more, कि आप इंजीनियर हैं तो क्यों जाना चाहते हैं IAS में? And I would like to state that we worked in the engineering side for 14 years in almost every power station that is there in the state, in almost every of the expressways that there are in the state. And it is IIT Kanpur and its technology which was taught to me as an engineer, which helped us to take this forward. I thought I would get a written speech here, but then it is, I am overwhelmed by this occasion. But I would also like to tell you that Manindra Sab and all others from IIT Kanpur have continued to associate me with all the good work which IIT Kanpur does. I am on the board of the Technopark at IIT Kanpur. We are also from the government of Uttar Pradesh supporting the medical school of IIT Kanpur, and we intend to take new projects in the area of artificial intelligence as well as new projects in the area of maybe medical technology and other areas. There are two other aspects that I'd like to state here. One, IIT Kanpur really has earned for itself a name where the moment you tell somebody that you are from IIT Kanpur, that brand shines, and 6 years of IIT Kanpur's existence has ensured that it shines all across the world. Adil ji is here. We have also worked together on the Capacity Building Commission, and UP government has done well after his interference and his suggestions to us, And we are now into the training schedule for all government servants in Uttar Pradesh. And it is because of him that we are now at the top of the entire country. And this is another achievement which was only possible because of his support. And I'm so very happy that he is the chief guest here. I would like to once again congratulate all my colleagues here. Ganesh is here, Rishikesh is here, Deepak is here, all other colleagues of my batch. I'm sure lots more needs to happen, but IIT Kanpur is the place and will continue to be the place which will shine and shine forever. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Sri Gyanesh Kumar to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Sri Gyanesh Kumar.
Shri Gyanesh Kumar took charge as the 26th Chief Election Commissioner of India on 19 February 2025. He is a 1988 batch Kerala cadre officer of the IAS. He received his BTech in Civil Engineering from IIT Kanpur and has also studied Business Finance from ICFAI, India, and Environmental Economics from HIID, Harvard University, USA. He has worked as Municipal Commissioner of Corporation of Cochin, MD of Kerala State Cooperative Bank, District Collector of Ernakulam, Secretary of Goshri Islands Development Authority, MD of Trivandrum Airport Development Society, and Resident Commissioner of Kerala House in New Delhi. As Secretary to the Government of Kerala, he has handled diverse departments such as Finance Resources, Fast Track Projects, Public Works Department, Modernizing Government Program, and Food, Civil Supplies, and Consumer Affairs. In the Government of India, he has rich experience of upgrading all defense shipyards while working as Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Defense, Joint Secretary and Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, while unprecedented transformations were taking place in Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ayodhya. Further, he has served as a Secretary in the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Secretary in the Ministry of Cooperation for strengthening the largest cooperative movement in the world. After superannuation on 31st January 2024, he was appointed as the Election Commissioner in the Election Commission of India on 15th March 2024 and oversaw the largest elections of the world, that is Lok Sabha elections 2024. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of transformational policy, administrative expertise, and electoral governance, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Gyanesh Kumar the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request Sri Adil Zalunbhai, Professor Manindra Agrawal, and Professor Bhushan to kindly felicitate Sri Gyanesh Kumar. I would now request Sri Gyanesh Kumar to kindly give acceptance speech.
Dear Adil Bhai, Director, Mr. Manindra Agrawal, senior members of the faculty, my colleagues who are receiving these awards today, and students sitting up there who are reminding me of my youthful days spent here. 1981 to 85, first of the 4-year batches. A boy who used to learn swimming in the Ganges of Varanasi. finally arrives in Kanpur and is ragged very badly in his first year. His only mistake was that perhaps he was known to have topped the UP board in 10th and 12th, so everybody was looking for him. Where the hell is he? I was just discussing with Mr. Avnish that it used to be, I think all the awardees would know, it used to be 15th August, the day we used to get freedom from ragging. And the methodology I don't want to mention here. People who were here, they know it well. So my memories of IIT Kanpur, I would like to share it in few seconds. You reach a class late. The quiz of 10 marks has already been finished. You lost 10 marks. You sleep in the class. The quiz of 5 marks is over. You're done with 5 more. And the best day in the week, when you get some good food in the mess, at 7:30 in the night, the mess door says there is a quiz of thermodynamics, lecture hall 4. And then you suddenly ask your neighbors, somebody is sitting there, please give me a calculator and a pen. And you rush and you find, I think I can take the name of the Honorable Professor Oberoi with his pipe. And he says, boys and girls, welcome. We are standing outside. There is no welcome. And suddenly, right at sharp 7:30, he enters, the switches are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boards. The entire thermodynamics question has been written. And he says, the quiz starts now. And by the time you read the paper, the board, and by the time you're able to, make some equations, you suddenly realize that the lights are switched off. Boys, you can leave. The only type of exams which were left, I think Randeep Bhasin is also here. We were together. Piyush is here. Only type of exam which I tell my children is that we were sleeping, suppose, in my dreams, and there is Nagada bajoing, and they say, come on, all 3 lawns, the quiz is here. That's the only thing which was left. Before I proceed further, I must also mention my connections to you all with Kanpur. My father has come with me. He is a medical doctor, Dr. Subodh Kumar Gupta, and he studied here at Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi Medical College. He received the gold medal here from Nobel Prize winner Sir Dr. C.V. Raman. And I had no choice but to read. My father was like this. My mother is here. She did MA Hindi from Varanasi Hindu University. And she was doing her MA and I was doing my 10th all together in Varanasi. I have my wife also here, Anuradha, my home minister. We got married when I went to Kerala. She learned Malayalam. Since Rema is here, she learned Chor, More, Ellam, Samsari Kamallo. So my wife learned Malayalam, the food, the culture, and stayed with me. And we have, of course, children and grandchildren now. So this was the mental strength which IIT gave us. You reach late, you're done. You sleep, you're done. You want to enjoy material things of the life, you're done. And lastly, I didn't want to mention this, but one of the persons who challenged me for physical endurance is also here. IIT Kanpur also has, those days Limca Book of World Records had not come. And I must say it myself because there's no record here. So one fine day, we were having at Lala's canteen in Hall 3, Hakka Chowmein. Since I used to be a swimmer, and one of my colleagues had crossed the English Channel, so all my colleagues sitting there, they were clapping for her. So I told them, what the hell? There's nothing so great about it. So they said, no, English Channel. So then I had to tell them, look, I also had an offer. I was captain of the UP team, but I didn't go. They all laughed at me. And one of the persons who laughed is sitting here. And one of the persons who laughed was sitting here. And then I had to tell him that's nothing great. 25 kilometers is equal to English Channel, is equal to 500 lanes of 50-meter pool in IIT Kanpur. It can be done. He says, I challenge you. I said, challenge accepted. You know what the challenge was? 1 vanilla brick. Hall 3, Lala's Canteen. I hope you remember. You're looking at me. You remember. And then what happened? A few days later, I did some practice. 4 o'clock in the morning, IIT Kanpur swimming pool, 50 meters. One of your distinguished alumni awardee dives into water. 4 a.m. in the morning. Comes out at 6 a.m. in the evening. 500 lengths done, 25 kilometers over. Physical endurance based on a small challenge, just for a vanilla break. So, the long and short is, when the tough gets going, IIT Kanpurites get going. Wherever on earth, wherever IIT Kanpur, boys or girls are there, I can assure you, they will be doing one of the best and emulative roles, wherever on earth, whatever the role is. And lastly, before I conclude, as a citizen, as a family member, all of us are bounded on this earth by either constitutional duty or legal or family or social or personal. All of us. And I can tell you, I've met a lot of IIT Kanpur people. Sanjay is here. He now looks after money. I look after men. He looks after money being printed, and I look after your votes. IITians, wherever they are, they have brought laurels, not only for themselves, their families, their societies, but their country and the area in which they have worked. The constitutional duties which are there, they are challenging. A lot of headwinds. The faster you run, the more the air comes against you. The first law of physics, I still remember. For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. And here I am, standing in front of you, right in the brunt of reactions, but the actions shall not stop. Why? The IIT Kanpur taught me. The endurance, be it mental and be it physical. With these little words, I thank with my whole heart the faculty here, the director, and of course Sadil Bhai, which I had met once or twice earlier and learned a lot of things from him, the students here, and all the professors here. Thank you. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Professor Rishikesh T. Krishnan to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Professor Rishikesh T. Krishnan.
Professor Rishikesh Krishnan is a professor of strategy at the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. He has led two of India's leading business schools as the director, the IIM Indore and the IIM Bangalore, with distinction. He held the Jamuna Raghavan Chair in Entrepreneurship at IIM Bangalore from 2007 to 2010. His main areas of interest are strategy and innovation. Professor Krishnan holds an MSc in Physics from IIT Kanpur, an MS in Engineering Economic Systems, now Management Science and Engineering from Stanford University, and the title of Fellow, which is equivalent to PhD, from IIM Ahmedabad, where his thesis proposal won the Outstanding Thesis Proposal Award instituted by the Industrial Finance Corporation of India. He has been listed in the Thinkers 50 India list of most influential management thinkers from India. Professor Krishnan has extensive corporate board and advisory experience. He is currently on the boards of Gujarat State Petronet Limited, Wheels India Limited, and the Higher Education Financing Agency or HEFA. He is also on the advisory board of Your Nest Investment Advisors. He has served on several committees set up by the Government of India and prominent industry associations related to innovation in India. He is a member of CII National Committee on Technology, Innovation and Development, Research and the CII National Higher Education Committee. Professor Krishnan was a member of the expert committee set up by the Government of India in 2017-18 under the chairmanship of Justice B.N. Sri Krishna to propose a data protection framework for India. He has been on the jury of the Economic Times Startup Awards. Apart from academic publications, Professor Krishnan has written 2 books, 8 Steps to Innovation, Going from Jugaad to Excellence, co-authored with Vinay Dabholkar, which won the Best Book Award for 2013-14 from the Indian Society for Training and Development. And his second book is From Jugaad to Systematic Innovation, The Challenge for India. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of management education and thought leadership, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Hrishikesh T. Krishnan the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request Shri Adil Zalunbai, Professor Manindra Agrawal, Professor Bhushan, and Professor Bera to kindly felicitate Professor Hrishikesh T. Krishnan. I would now request Professor Krishnan to kindly give acceptance speech.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's a great privilege and honor for me to receive this award, and I'm very thankful to the Institute for choosing me for this distinction. I had the pleasure of studying here for 5 years when I was quite a young boy. Like Rama, I also came from quite far away. I came from Chennai. I wasn't even very sure where Kanpur was when I first came here. So it was quite a induction by fire for me to move from where I was to come to this city. But I must say that IIT Kanpur experience was a very rewarding one. I met some very good individuals, made excellent friends. And on a personal note, I met my wife also on campus. So that was perhaps one of the most important benefits of coming to IIT Kanpur. I was not one of the best students in the campus for sure, but I did a lot of other things. I was the General Secretary, Cultural of the Students' Gymkhana. I was the coordinator of SPICMAKE. I was involved in many, many student activities. And what I learned from all of these activities has stood me in good stead throughout my life. If I have good organizational capabilities today, if I'm able to work with stakeholders, if I'm able to consistently think independently and express myself, and if I'm able to be critical and analytical in my reasoning, I think a lot of this can be attributed to IIT Kanpur and the education we received here. So I'm extremely grateful to the Institute for the excellent foundation they helped me create. And it's been my pleasure and privilege to build on this foundation through my career subsequently. I've also had the advantage of interacting a lot with the Institute over the years, and I must compliment the Institute for the excellent growth and development it has achieved over the years. Of course, my discipline has changed. I was a physics student here. Today, I'm a management academic, but I've had the opportunity to interact quite a bit with the management department here at IIT Kanpur. Last year, I had the honor of being the convocation speaker for the management department. I've been on selection committee, I've examined thesis, I've given lectures, I've interacted with the institute in multiple ways. So in many ways, today's recognition is an extension of my lifelong association with IIT Kanpur. Most people don't know this, but I've even been the president of the IIT Kanpur Alumni Association, when I was very young, and I must confess, probably I was asked because they couldn't find anyone else. But for whatever it was, I was very closely involved with the Alumni Association as well. And in fact, it was during my tenure as president of the Alumni Association that Mr. Narayan Murthy was given the Distinguished Alumni Award. And I had the privilege of being here and being one of his hosts on the campus. So overall, I have had a very close association with IIT Kanpur for the last so many years, since the age of 17. And I thank the Institute for all the Institute has done for me. And I also hope that I have given back to the Institute in equal measure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Sri Manish Chandra to kindly come up on stage and request Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Sri Manish Chandra.
Shri Manish Chandra is the founder and board member of Poshmark, a leading social marketplace for fashion resale that combines e-commerce with community engagement. Since founding the company in 2011, he has guided its vision, strategy, and growth, transforming Poshmark into one of the most recognized names in sustainable fashion commerce. Under his leadership, the platform continues to empower millions of sellers and buyers while shaping the future of social shopping. He holds a BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur, an MS in Computer Science from the University of Texas at Austin, and an MBA in Marketing and Finance from the Haas School of Business, University of California, Berkeley. His educational background uniquely blends deep technical expertise with strong business acumen, equipping him to lead and scale technology-driven enterprises. Over the course of his career, he has achieved several significant milestones. Before Poshmark, he co-founded Kaboodle, an online social shopping site acquired by Hearst Communications in 2007. He has also held leadership roles at Sybase, Versant, and Versata. At Poshmark, he oversaw the company's successful IPO on NASDAQ in 2021 and its subsequent acquisition by Never Corporation in 2023. With more than 2 decades of experience in building innovative businesses, Sri Chandra continues to champion sustainability, entrepreneurship, and the power of community-driven commerce. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of entrepreneurship and innovation in technology and e-commerce, IIT Kanpur confers upon Sri Manish Chandra the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Sri Manish Chandra. I would now request Sri Chandra to kindly give acceptance speech.
Thank you, Dean Agrawal and IITK Board for conferring this honor upon me. I'm both humbled and really grateful for being recognized by an institution that has a major hand in shaping who I am. If you can imagine a kid growing up in UP to be starting a fashion company in the United States, I don't think anything could have prepared except for this very special school that we are part of. I want to also thank my family who is here to support me, my wife Asha Chandra, who's sitting there, my brothers Manoj and Manav Chandra, who've flown here, and I also want to thank my parents, Mr. Mahesh and Mrs. Shashi Chandra. My father, Mahesh Chandra, passed away about 15 years back. He would have been so proud to see me here today. So I really miss him, and their values have been guiding principles in my life. When I look around and I see many of us who have learned our core values right here in this institution, when we think about community, which is the foundation of anything, we learned that from forming deep friendships finding that love within those early friendships that we found. Today, I was sitting at lunch, Professor Sumit Ganguly, who's both been a colleague and also my roommate in the early days of US. We were reminiscing the early days of maybe making paranthas together and sabji together. All of those memories are part of what this school teaches you, how to share, how to connect, and how to come together. It taught us courage. Back in 1984, we saw some of the most violent riots that reached into these institutions. And for those who were there, we had to kind of figure out how to hide our Sikh colleagues and fight the crowds and riots that were happening. That was a moment that taught us a lot of things, both about friendship, but also just about courage. When we think about intelligence, today we think about artificial general intelligence. When I came to this school, intelligence was everywhere. It was humbling to see how smart and amazing people which was surrounding us. You really felt instantly both foolish and unwise as soon as you walked into the school. And there was nothing artificial or general about it. It was amazing. It challenged us, and it continues to challenge us. It reminds us, no matter where we are, to remain humble, because there's always amazing people doing amazing things in and around. And with that, I also want to just congratulate all of the people around us today who are receiving the Distinguished Alumnus Award and other awards, as well as all the people who've come before us and will come after us. I think when I think about leadership, this school is built upon teaching us leadership. The number of CEOs, number of other kinds of leaders, government leaders, academic leaders that have come out of it is amazing. And there's a systematic method to it. We are taught leadership from the day we walked in, whether we are participating in a club, thinking about cultural festivals, thinking about student elections, and this school teaches us how to take risks. I remember back in 1984 or 85, when we were doing our Culfest, I was the Culfest convener, we had decided we were going to get Pankaj Udas at that time. And he was an emerging musician. And we had a budget of $25K that we were paying him, which I think a year later, we couldn't have gotten him and we couldn't have gotten that budget. But $25K was a king's ransom at that time. And we had to work with the dean and other groups to kind of get that. But that was a calculated risk we took, and it became sort of legendary that we got him at that time into the school. So I feel very special about how the school inculcates and develops us as human beings on so many dimensions that are beyond the depth of academic challenges, the computer science, the sort of the deep research that happens here. The memories, the learning, and the journey IIT Kanpur have given me is priceless. When I'm visiting here, it sort of fills me with both pride and gratitude. This morning, I took a 2-hour walk. Of course, the school looks nothing like it was back in 87, 84, and 85. But still, there are so many different things, including my favorite, walking around with dogs walking everywhere. They have become and grown and multiplied. But those things remind you that there is so much that has changed, and so much that will change, but so much that remains the same. The last thing I want to do is actually thank something else. I want to thank IIT Chennai or IIT Madras. And the reason I want to thank it is that when I applied for IIT, I had told my dad that I only want to go to IIT Kanpur, and I only want to go to IIT Kanpur Computer Science. And at that time, back in 83, IIT Kanpur took 15 kids in computer science. And my rank at that time was JE 41. And prior to that, every single time the school had closed at 27 or 28. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to get in here. And I told my dad, if I don't get into IIT Kanpur Computer Science, I'm going to sit back and apply to G again. And my dad was like, are you foolish? You have to go to some other IIT. That year, rank 1 through 5 chose IIT Chennai because they were all from Madras. And so I was the 15th kid to squeak in. And I'm so thankful for that. Again, thank you everyone for this honor. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Dean, for hosting an amazing time here. And thank you for IITK Foundation for really treating us like VVIPs. Thank you again, and everyone, all the kids who are here, all the students, all the best to you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Dr. Naresh Chand Gupta to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Dr. Naresh Chand Gupta.
Dr. Naresh Chand Gupta is the founder and CEO of AccuraCap, a quant-driven asset management company that applies technology and research to equity investing. He received his BTech in computer science from IIT Kanpur and his MS and PhD in computer science from the University of Maryland, College Park. His doctoral dissertation was nominated for the ACM Distinguished Dissertation Award, and his early research made fundamental contributions in artificial intelligence, computer vision, planning, and machine learning. Dr. Gupta conceived, founded, and built Adobe India into one of the largest global R&D centers. Returning to India in 1997, he established Adobe India's operation from scratch and helped shape the country's broader global capability center ecosystem. Under his leadership, teams in India grew to over 4,000 engineers, filing more than 100 global patents annually and building many widely used products including InDesign, Illustrator, Captivate, Photoshop Elements, and Acrobat. He also founded and led Adobe's worldwide print and publishing business unit, serving as a corporate officer and member of Adobe's executive team. For his pioneering role in establishing India's R&D ecosystem, Silicon India recognized him as the father of offshore R&D in 2005, and Zinnov honored him with the R&D Visionaries Award in 2008. He currently serves on the boards of eClerx and No Paper Forms and has earlier served on the boards of InfoEdge India Limited and FL India Limited. He is also a distinguished alumnus and Hall of Fame honoree of the University of Maryland at College Park. Honoring his contributions to technology innovation, global business leadership, and research-driven entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Naresh Chand Gupta the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Dr. Naresh Chand Gupta. I would now request Dr. Gupta to kindly give acceptance speech.
It has been my pleasure, privilege, and honor to have been part of this great world-class institution. From the day I set foot on this campus, IITK has been part of my identity. I'll always be grateful to the teachers from whom I learned a lot, and they are exceptional. But the greatest learning came from the classmates, the batchmates, and the broader student community. The extremely high, perhaps the highest intellect density that I have ever experienced, combined with intensity, pride, expectation, and a culture of excellence, transformed us in many, many ways. We developed a confidence, sometimes bordering on little arrogance, that if there is a problem to be solved, it will be solved. It may need few night outs, it may need few lala danda paratha, or early morning tea at MT, or late night trips to the library, but the problem will be solved. We also learned the appreciation for technology and innovation, and the IIT inculcated in us the path to growth comes from adapting technology, innovation, and change. A deep reverence for technology and innovation as the driver of growth was ingrained in us through the life because of the teaching and surrounding at IITK. Those last-minute submissions, surprise quizzes that everybody talked about, 31 hours academic week made us impervious to pressure. IITK trained us to take ambitious goals without breaking a sweat. Even copying assignment taught us that not every problem needs to be solved. Sometimes collaborating, copying, and acquiring is a better business strategy. And that's something that I followed in my business life. That defined my life path in many ways. Barely 30 and still a researcher at Adobe, I proposed to the founders to set up a research center 8,000 miles away in India. And I had never worked in India, and I had never run a research center or any kind of center before. That was all IITK confidence and self-belief speaking. Few years later, when I was asked to do a fresh, new, big, bold version of PageMaker, and I had never done a PageMaker or never used a PageMaker, never seen the source code of PageMaker, I, without any hesitation, accepted. And that was, again, the confidence that IITK has given us, that if there is a problem to be solved, we know how to solve it. Spending 4 years of my most formative years of my life at IITK has been a joy of life. And I like to thank IIT Director Manindra, who actually ranked us when I was here in 41 years back in 1984. And the committee for giving this award to me. I humbly accept it, and I like to thank the Institute a lot. I'll also like to thank my family, who has been a constant support. My mother is here, who came from Lucknow. My father, unfortunately, passed away a few years back and would have been very proud. My wife, Nidhi, my daughter, Charvi, my uncle, and my extended family, who has been a constant support and love that made all this happen. I really thank IIT for selecting this. IIT has done a lot for me, and my hope and endeavor will be that I can do something equivalent for the IIT. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Sri Rishi Kapoor to kindly come up on stage, and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Sri Rishi Kapoor.
Sri Rishi Kapoor is now InvestCorp's Vice Chairman and Chief Investment Officer, overseeing the firm's investment activities across North America, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, covering private equity, real estate infrastructure, credit, absolute return strategies, and insurance solutions. He is a member of Duke University's Middle East Regional Advisory Board, the Oxford Energy Policy Club, His Majesty King Charles Sustainable Markets Initiative, the Board of Directors for National Bank of Bahrain. Previously, he has served as a board member for several years at Gulf Air Holdings Group, Bahrain Airport Company, and Gulf Aviation Academy. He has been recognized by Forbes Middle East as one of the top 10 Indian executives impacting the Middle East, and by Top CEO Middle East as a top chief executive in the GCC financial services and investment sector. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of global finance and investments, IIT Kanpur confers upon Sri Rishi Kapoor the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Sri Rishi Kapoor. I would now request Sri Rishi Kapoor to kindly give acceptance speech.
First of all, let me thank Avnish for removing the flowers from in front of us. Like any self-respecting IITian backbencher, when I was alerted that I'd need to make a few remarks, after receiving my award, I went straight to ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, what should I say? And ChatGPT came back with an instant answer. It suggested that I should stand here and sing, Hum tum ek kamre mein band ho. And that was the end of my research into ChatGPT. So I decided to do the next best thing, which served me well during the 4 years that I was here in Kanpur. And that was to trust my instinct, last minute gut instinct, because you haven't really prepared, so speak from the heart. Now, it would be easy for me to stand over here and posit that 41 and a half years ago, at that pivotal moment in time in May of 1984, when I ticked the box saying IIT Kanpur Electrical Engineering, the real objective was to be standing here 41 and a half years later accepting this award. But that would be a fanciful, expectation. I think the reality is very different and frankly, much more somber. You've all watched, I'm sure, synchronized swimming. It's an Olympic sport, right? It's eminently pleasing to watch. And we all wonder at the mystery of this synchronized swimmer suddenly emerging straight out of the water, propelled vertically upwards out of nowhere, right? And we all stand up and we applaud. That's what it feels like for me standing over here. But the reality is that beneath the surface, there's a whole team of people that is propelling that person vertically up, defying gravity. And that team today, for me, is all of you. Everyone over here, the institute, the people that formulated the early years of my journey, starting with my parents. My father is no more. Dad, I love you in heaven. My mother, together the two of them paved that runway on which I could then have at least the aspiration of being able to glide one day. From that early beginnings to the end game, from my wife and my daughter. My wife is sitting over here. My daughter couldn't make it. She's out at college. My wife told me the real question to ask is never why. It's why not. That was such an important element of shaping my own journey from the very early years. And then, of course, my daughter, who taught me how to embrace empathy. You learn a lot. You learn a lot through your colleagues. You learn a lot through the institute that you go through. But empathy is something that you can only embrace from the people that are nearest and dearest to you. And thank you to my daughter for that. I learned a lot from my colleagues, from my mentors at work. But last and not least, of course, is the institute. And the institute is not just the professors that are teaching you, that you're learning from. The institute is also the batchmates that are surrounding you, that took this lump of clay, wide-eyed, naive lump of clay from Lucknow, and shaped it into a vessel that humanity could use to some benefit. I think, I may be wrong in this, but I think our batch, graduating in 1988, was the first batch that we had banks coming to recruit on campus from here. And I was one of the first guys to join Citibank straight out of college from IIT campus recruitment in 1988. My entire dorm went to Silicon Valley or the United States, including NC over here, of course. But the reason I'm pointing that out is, how many of you could have imagined the likelihood of a technologist, of an engineer, an electrical engineer at that, going into financial services on day one, right? And here we are. NC is running a financial services firm. The person who is going to come after me is running an entire central bank. It is really evidence of the fact that at IIT, what you learn, of course, is IQ. Goes without saying. It nourishes your IQ. You learn EQ through the process of both competing and collaborating and enjoying the company of your batchmates. But most importantly, and this is the one that we miss, you learn DQ, and the D stands for decency. And I think without fail, I can say this with the utmost conviction. The entire group of people sitting in this auditorium today and everyone that we've interacted with in our professional and personal lives has manifested that third quotient, that utterly important quotient of decency. And that's the one thought that I would want to leave you with. Thank you very much again. I am greatly humbled by this recognition, and I hope to be able to earn it even more in the years and decades ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now most humbly call upon Shri Sanjay Malhotra to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Shri Sanjay Malhotra.
Shri Sanjay Malhotra is the 26th Governor of the Reserve Bank of India since December 2024. In his very first attempt, he topped the Civil Services Exam 1989 and joined the Indian Administrative Services in 1990. He served in various capacities in the Government of Rajasthan and Government of India, besides having a stint in the United Nations. As Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Power and later as Chairman and Managing Director of REC Limited, he dealt with transmission, distribution, reforms, and restructuring, and was deeply involved in policy initiatives and privatization of distribution utilities of Union territories. He served as Secretary to the Government of India in the Department of Financial Services and Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, and was instrumental in implementing a number of reforms. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of public policy, banking, taxation, and power, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Sanjay Malhotra the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Shri Sanjay Malhotra. I would now request Shri Sanjay Malhotra to kindly give acceptance speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm deeply honored to receive this award and be part of this very, very distinguished group. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity and the privilege to give the convocation address, and today is even more special. Well, my wife is here with us today, as she has been, always in thick and thin. She's herself a gold medalist and a PhD, innumerable sacrifices, keeping one pillar, one back home, to allow me to shoulder the responsibilities of my career. So I thank her, first of all, for giving me all the support at home. My mother is not with me here, but she's watching this virtually, as she always does, with great interest and quite religiously, in fact. She's not only the first teacher, she instilled in me the fire in the belly. My father, of course, passed away. He would have been the proudest father watching all this. I have no words to thank them for their support and their guidance and their innumerable sacrifices. My parents-in-laws, I remember them on this occasion with great respect, great gratitude. I have to also thank my adorable boys who consider me their hero, and I hope I can continue to remain so for years to come. I'm grateful to every one of you, our teachers, and one of them, Mr. Prabhakar, Dr. Prabhakar is here amongst us. all the peers of IIT, classmates, schoolmates, colleagues, seniors, well-wishers, supporters who have stood by me and who have encouraged me in whatever I have done. Thank you, IIT, for this honor and for the foundation that IIT provided to me, for shaping my life, for shaping my purpose, for shaping my career. I have no words enough to thank IIT for what it gave me and prepared me for this long career, 35 plus years in civil service. I hope some of the youngsters are here. It will inspire some of them to join public service. I do believe that this service affords an opportunity like very few others to contribute meaningfully to society. And I also hope, and in fact I'm sure, that this particular award today further renews my resolve to continue contributing meaningfully to society, to make a difference, to make a change, to question the status quo, to always give my best, to be a lifelong learner, as this institute has always taught us, and to follow virtuous karma. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I would now invite Professor Amit Agrawal to kindly come up on stage. Professor Karkare to read out the citation.
Professor Amit Agrawal is a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Bombay. Previously, he has also served as the Dean of International Relations at IIT Bombay. His research interests include the development of novel biomicrodevices, microscale flows, theoretical fluid mechanics, synthetic jet, and microchannel-based cooling of electronic devices and turbulent flows. His group is credited with providing the first analytical solution of the Burnett equation, development of a unique blood plasma separation microdevice, and derivation of equations which are more general than the Navier-Stokes equations. Professor Agrawal was awarded the prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize for Science and Technology for his contributions to engineering sciences in 2018 by CSIR India. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of fluid mechanics, heat transfer, and the development of novel biomicrodevices, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Amit Agrawal the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Professor Amit Agrawal.
I use that line of logic for my research, and with great success. So I'm thankful to all my batchmates for raising such interesting questions, for giving their, being part of such stimulating discussions that we had here. And to the professors who were always very meticulously planned their lectures, and there was flawless delivery. And this is something that could see lecture after lecture, course after course, year after year. It's something worth emulating for anybody, any institute, anywhere. So I'm very thankful to my professors, Professor Muralidhar, Professor Gautam Biswas, Professor B.D. Agarwal, Professor M.M. Oberoi, and so many others who have actually been making such a transformative role. And they may not realize, but they have actually changed, or through their teaching and guidance, have actually shaped so many careers, so many lives and careers. I'm really grateful to all the professors here. Next, I would like to acknowledge the support that I have received from my family. My father, my mother, my parents have shaped the early stages of my career and my life. And now my wife, Meghna, who's a PhD and a scientist at Reliance and who's here with us, and our daughter, who is completing her BTech, from VIT Velo, they are my pillars of support. So I'm thankful to them, thankful to all my students for all the hard work that they have done. And actually, because of them, whatever laurels I have earned is because of the hard work that they have done over the years. So thank you. Thanks, IIT Kanpur, once again, for giving me this extremely prestigious honor. And I only can hope that the Institute continues to guide me and help me in the way that it has done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now invite Shri Ambuj Kumar to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Shri Ambuj Kumar.
Shri Ambuj Kumar is a visionary technologist and entrepreneur whose groundbreaking work in cybersecurity has redefined data protection and AI-led cyber defense. As the founder of two industry-leading companies, Fortanix and Symbian, he has consistently pushed the boundaries of innovation to address critical security challenges and made the world more secure and private. A prolific inventor with more than 100 patents, Shri Kumar is recognized as the father of confidential computing. Today, his innovations are trusted by hundreds of organizations, including industry giants like IBM, Intel, Goldman Sachs, etc., to secure their most sensitive data. Recognizing the surge of AI-led attacks on critical infrastructure worldwide, Shri Kumar founded Symbian, an agentic AI platform that uses advanced proprietary knowledge unavailable to the attackers to keep organizations secure, quickly earning the trust of major partners such as Wipro, NTT Data, and Infosys. In honor of his stellar contributions in the fields of cybersecurity and technological innovation, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Ambuj Kumar the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Shri Ambuj Kumar. I would now request Shri Ambuj Kumar to kindly give acceptance speech.
Namaskar. So as I stand on this podium in front of such accomplished individuals, I'm deeply humbled for this award and recognition. Many thanks to the Institute, all my professors, as well as all my IIT friends. I would like to dedicate this award to my parents. मेरी माँ जो खुद अपनी पढ़ाई नहीं कर पाई, उन्होंने बहुत बचपन में मेरे में अनुशासन और कड़ी मेहनत की आदत डाली। माँ और मैं बहुत जल्दी जग जाते थे। मैं लालटेन जला के अपनी पढ़ाई करता था और वो अपने घर के काम शुरू कर देती थी। उस समय मुझे लगता था कि सुबह के 3 बजे कौन घर की सफाई करता है, लेकिन अब मुझे समझ में आया वो बस मेरा साथ देना चाहती थी। And my father, who was a public school teacher in a village so remote that my friends used to joke that you need 4 modes of transportation to reach my house. First you take train, then bus, then balgari, and then a boat. With his limited means, he created an environment where I could dream without any limitations. He taught me to compare myself with the world's best and always aspired me to do great things. I'm very happy that both of them could see me today, that how far I have come. When I came here in 1998, I vividly remember the guy who handed me Institute ID card saying that this is your ID now. The previous certificates and identity card from college and JEE exams, they don't matter. And true to his word, IIT Kanpur was a hard reset for my identity. This was first place where excellence was the only thing that mattered. Caste, creed, rich, poor, whether you really needed that boat to reach my home or that was exaggeration, none of that mattered. Only thing that mattered was how good you were. And this pursuit to excellence is something that has shaped my career all along. The desire to pursue speed of light perfection in whatever I do, which is to say that it's still finite, but theoretical best, has manifested in all the things I have done. First, I created world's leading chips at NVIDIA. Then I went on to create a company, Photonics, where I pioneered confidential computing. And now I'm building super intelligent AI agents to secure us from cybersecurity threats. This institute has given me so much, including my wife, who was my classmate here, Shweta. Much love to my family, my sister Kiran, my brother Anupam, as well as to my fun daughters, Mihika and Sanvi. True to mission of motto of IIT Kanpur, Tamsoma Jyotirgmaya, I hope to continue to spread the light. May tomorrow be brighter than today. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Dr. Deepak Narula to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Dr. Deepak Narula.
Dr. Deepak Narula is the founder and managing partner of Meta Capital Management, one of the most experienced hedge fund managers specializing in mortgage-backed securities and structured credit investing. He has over 30 years of experience in this sector. As the Chief Investment Officer of Meta Capital, he is involved in all aspects of the firm's overall development and investment strategy. He also serves on the board of directors at the Vedanta Society of New York. In addition, he has taught courses at Columbia Business School. Prior to founding Meta Capital in 2001, Dr. Narula was managing director and head of MBS trading desk at Lehman Brothers, building a highly profitable business for the firm. He has championed various philanthropic causes, including supporting PhD scholars at Columbia Business School, tech initiatives at IIT Kanpur, and invaluable work undertaken by the Ramakrishna Vivekananda Centers in the US and India. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of financial markets, investment management, and philanthropy, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Deepak Narula the Distinguished Alumni Award 2025.
I request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Dr. Deepak Narula. I would now request Dr. Narula to kindly give acceptance speech.
Thank you, Manendra and team. I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm excited to be part of this elite group. I'm surprised actually that you included me in this group, considering you were one batch junior to us and we ragged the hell out of you. Not only that, I want to congratulate all the fellow awardees over here, all very richly deserved, and I'm really, honored to be part of this group. But I do have to give a shout out for the class of 80-81. 4 in 1 year. When has that happened before? Congratulations. 5, yes. 85, yeah. 80-81 is the year we all came in together, the class that graduated in 85. 4 of us. That's out of 200, that's a pretty good number in 1 year. I'd like to give thanks. I'll keep it short. I know everybody's been sitting here for a while, but I would like to give thanks to obviously IIT and the faculty that basically let me be where I am today. I have to give thanks to my family. My parents, they're both gone. They're probably both watching and smiling. I'm here, in large part because of them. My dad told me, at least take the JEE. I'm a reluctant engineer. Unlike folks here who said they knew all along this is what they wanted to do and this is where they wanted to come, that was not my story. But I'd like to, my dad is the one who said, at least take JEE. And the rest is kind of changed my life. My sister is in Dubai, could not attend. My wife and children are in New York, could not attend. I give thanks for all the support that they provided me over the years. But my brother has made his way, Jyoti, from Delhi. He made stand up. I actually went last in my group because I wanted to make sure that the flight from Delhi got here in time. Along with him, actually very good friends for 5 years together. We were Amit Kumar, Abhay Maheshwari, Prashant Gupta. Wave to the crowd, please. And of course, besides, the 3 awardees, in addition to myself, there's Randeep Bhasin, Rita Singh, and who else am I missing? Piyush Chandra. Yeah, so it's, people have come all the way and flown in just to provide support. I'm deeply touched by that. I mean, it's 40 years. I was here for my 40th reunion just a short while back. To be back again in a few months, I mean, the place is more special than ever before. My story, I'll tell you briefly. I was a reluctant engineer. I did not expect to come to Kanpur. I did not expect to be an engineer. Once I got through JEE, I filled Delhi, and I thank Delhi for this, as EE as my first choice. And it's the first year ever that Delhi EE closed before Kanpur, just a few ranks above. And I was just a couple of ranks below where they closed, and here I was in Kanpur. I got here in my first week, and I said, why have I come to Kanpur? I don't want to be an engineer. I don't want to be in Kanpur. I went back to Delhi. I wanted to study economics. I got into St. Stephen's College. It was a good school. I was delighted that I could go back. Within a week, I was back with my tail between my legs. Not because my parents put any pressure. All my friends said, what a fool. You're a moron. Go back. And I applied for a transfer to Delhi. It came through in a year's time because I thought that's what I would want. At the end of the year, there's no way I was going back. I was totally sold, and I thank my stars that I made that decision. 5 years, amazing years over here. I did pivot, unlike, folks that, pivoted later in life and so on. I mean, many engineers have excelled in different areas. I pivoted right away. I went from here and I got my PhD, the business school at Columbia University. I studied management science. We have a management science professor here, who's an awardee. I studied finance, and I went straight from there to Wall Street. And I must tell you, you could say, like, what did electrical engineering give you to go and, do something in finance? The toolkit that I think that we got over here was spectacular. I mean, we were 11 people that in the PhD class in Columbia. The other 10 were really upset with me. They did not like me because I just breezed through the courses. It was a piece of cake. I mean, tough computational, financial mathematics that we learned came so easy based on the toolkit that we got over here. I mean, other things, it made life so simple. 4 years and I was done with a PhD. I mean, the average PhD then took 7 years. 2 of those years were spent just taking coursework. It's what IIT gave me. It's the ability to basically take a problem, crack it and solve it analytically. Whatever the problem is, it doesn't have to be figuring out, how digital signal processing works. It's got to be about figuring out how you take a problem, break it down, and solve it. And that's the training that has stood me in great stead over these years. I would say not only did the IIT training help me, the brand name. What a powerful brand name. I mean, it's like, it's just, I'm in the business of investment management. We have to raise money. and we have to go before people and then, tell our story. And I can tell you that when I mention that I'm from IIT, in many cases, like a good chunk of the sale is made right there. I mean, I remember in my early years, it was the chief investment officer of one of the big US pension funds. I mean, they managed like tens of billions of dollars. He came to the office and I told him, I went to IIT. I mean, he just bowed down in front of me. He was just saluting IIT. I mean, he wasn't saluting me, he was saluting IIT. I mean, that's what, the brand has given. And so I'm really deeply grateful to what I got from this place. And it's really, defined my life. It's defined all our lives over here, right? And that's why we are here. I'm also very excited about, shifting kind of gears to see the work that's being done over here now. I mean, when I joined, IIT Kanpur was #1 IIT, right? And for various reasons, that's not where we are today. But I'm so happy to see the work that's being done under Mahendra's leadership. And before that, I met with Abhay, and he, under his leadership, and that's transforming IIT, right? And I think we're going to get back where we richly deserve to be. I mean, look at the initiative with the medical school, the hospital being built, right? Which other IIT can boast of this, that you have a project that, an initiative that's going to combine medicine with engineering? I mean, we're going to be a leader and a pioneer. I mean, what a game changer in terms of differentiating yourself. Look at the work that's been done. I mean, the location is one of the bigger negatives that Kanpur had because the metros became, so powerful. And now look at kind of the work that's been done with the UP government, right? With Avnish kind of describing all the various projects. Well done, Avnish. I mean, that's pretty spectacular for you to bring that, to the table. That you've taken what was the weakness and made it a strength, right? The kind of collaboration. I mean, if even a partial of what you said, the vision of $1 trillion economy comes true, I mean, Kanpur IIT is going to participate in a big way. I mean, look at the initiatives in cybersecurity. Look at the initiatives one reads about in, national security, right? Those are pretty amazing. And I would say most recently, your cloud seeding venture. I mean, you got some rain. I have full faith. We're going to get a lot of rain, right? That's going to happen. I mean, that's great for IIT to be in the press like that. And I'll just, I've spoken plenty. I'll just, finish by saying I love to see this place have the culture that Adil Bhai spoke about. It is, I think, we've seen it work fabulously in US schools. I mean, look at MIT, the amount of wealth generated by the incubation done there, the MIT endowment it's a beast. I mean, it is so big, and a lot of the money has come because of the incubation that has been done there. It's made professors wealthy, it's made students wealthy, it's created so much good. Look at Stanford and that whole ecosystem that you referred to. And, I think we should learn from them. And the fact that there is incubation happening over here, I think I'm very encouraged by that. Also, I think at the policy level, I mean, look at countries like Israel, right? The amount of, policy initiatives that have been taken that has basically made a game changer. Israel is a leader in technologies, right? Think of the weapons they're able to develop. Think of the other, applications that they come up with. And the UP government taking the initiative there, that's a beautiful thing to watch. So I'm really excited to watch this growth. I look forward to contributing. Thank you for including me in your council. And I wish, the team here the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to congratulate all the distinguished alumni awardees. Your excellence inspires us. Having celebrated the spirit of knowledge and achievement, we now turn our attention to those whose unwavering dedication has strengthened the very foundation of our institution. Seva Parmo Dharma, service is the highest quality. This timeless idol reflects the essence of the Distinguished Services Award, which honors individuals whose selfless commitment and outstanding service have enriched IIT Kanpur's legacy and inspired generations to come. For this purpose, I would request Professor Karkare to kindly give a brief introduction about the Distinguished Services Award.
Instituted in the year 2019, the Distinguished Services Award honors alumni who have rendered exceptional service to IIT Kanpur through their dedication, goodwill, and unwavering commitment to the institute's growth. This award celebrates those who are true ambassadors of IIT Kanpur. Since its inception, a total of 12 alumni have been honored with the Distinguished Services Award till the year 2024, each a proud symbol of the institute's enduring culture of commitment and service.
For our first recipient of DSA, I invite Shri Shirish Joshi to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Shri Shirish Joshi.
Shri Shirish Joshi is the principal at Tesla Design LLC, a private consulting group based in San Francisco Bay Area. He, in his 40-plus year career, he has worked at Dunlop India, Oracle Corp, Genesis Telecommunications, and consulted with Google for 10 years and played key role in all these companies. He has supported IIT Kanpur for over a period of 25 years. He has been a trusted advisor to numerous small businesses in the non-technology space. His major contribution to IIT Kanpur include involvement in the formation of the IITK Alumni Association Silicon Valley chapter, content contributions for the IITK Golden Jubilee celebrations, and over 4 years of continuing effort to bring the story of IIT Kanpur to life through a revival of the existing Spark magazine. Honoring his stellar contribution to the institute, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Shirish Joshi the Distinguished Services Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Shri Shirish Joshi. I would now request Shri Joshi to kindly give acceptance speech.
Thank you. I'm deeply moved and honestly a bit overwhelmed by this honor. My colleague Aseem and I have worked for nearly the last 5 years to bring to life the unofficial history of IIT Kanpur through the Spark magazine, which we can all see on the web. I want to express my gratitude to two special people or groups who have helped a lot in achieving this. The first person is my mother. Back in my IIT days, I spent a lot of time taking pictures of the campus, tens of thousands of them. Turns out that 50 years ago, that stack of pictures is really the only comprehensive history of IIT from the 1970s. Not really expected, but there it is. And those pictures exist only because my mother, rather than me, carefully saved every single piece of film through moves across cities and over time, and those are now available to all of us and to the IIT to use as archives. The second group of people I want to thank are the people who have shaped us. We have acknowledged a lot of those, but the people who shaped us are the faculty, the staff, and everyone here who keeps this amazing place, IIT Kanpur, running. Think about it, from the director juggling 1,000 priorities at once, all of our professors who made even the toughest subjects like ESC 315 come alive, from the mess workers who fed us, to the lab assistants, the admin people, and countless others who keep this great machine running year after year. All these people do it without a fuss, through every challenge, so that all of us, the students, could grow and go out and make our place in the world today. So the next time, those of us who walk into classrooms or labs or even the dining hall, take a look at them and pause for a moment and think. Remember these unseen hands who have made our journey possible. So to all of these people at IIT Kanpur who made us who we are and who made me who I am, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, sir. I would now invite Shri Aseem Shukla to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Shri Asim Shukla.
Shri Asim Shukla is a seasoned corporate finance executive with more than 35 years of leadership experience at global industrial and financial services organizations. His past experience includes management roles at Fortune 500 companies, including Honeywell, DuPont, and Wells Fargo, to name a few. He continues to be engaged in initiatives that foster alumni connections and institutional visibility for IIT Kanpur. Along with Shirish, he relaunched the Spark, an old student publication in electric form, to connect with the various stakeholders and enhance IIT Kanpur's image and recognition. Honoring his stellar contribution in the field of global financial leadership, strategic management, and service to IIT Kanpur alumni community, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Asim Shukla the Distinguished Services Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Shri Asim Shukla. I would now request Shri Asim Shukla to kindly give acceptance speech.
Thank you for this honor. IIT Kanpur defined and shaped me, and this means a lot. I would like to say that what we have accomplished with the Spark could not have been done by Shirish and I without the support of a lot of people. Our co-editors, Anu Jagannathan and C.K. Mohan, Raman Bhatia, whose drawings have lightened every issue and grabbed interest and engagement of our audience, and the faculty and the alumni of IITK who have supported this project. I especially want to mention Professor and Mrs. Rajaraman, who wrote almost half a dozen articles for us to get this project started and establish credibility as we move forward with this. The support staff of IITK have played a very big part in this. It's the entire campus community. Alpna in the Dora office spends hours with every issue trying to put it together so that it can be distributed worldwide. Girish, who is here today, clicking photographs, has supported every single issue as well, going around the campus, clicking photographs for us every time we've asked him for support. The Spark is a reflection also of the support of the student community, especially those students who have got together to help us with our social media platforms. And I want to mention a few names. I know most of them are alumni now, but Aditya, Shakti, Ishan, and Aman, thank you very much for providing us a backdrop of photographs and stories that we've been able to use to keep this magazine current. And I would like to thank my wife, Seema, who's sitting here. She has to put up with hours and days of inattention every few weeks because the Spark is about to come out again. And Anurag and Rachna, who have come with us from Delhi. Anurag and I used to work on the Spark back in 1982, 83, and their encouragement has helped us keep this going as well. So thank you very much. Where do we go from here? We really want the Spark to be a true IITK campus community magazine, not a alumni record of memories and history, but we want this to be a living document of the IITK of today and where we are going into the future. We want to use these stories to help inspire us to do more, and then take this message out to the world and tell them of all the great things that have happened, continue to happen, and will happen on campus. And we want to use this to lift ourselves up. Let's get back to being number one the way we used to be. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Sri Nishit Mohan to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Sri Nishit Mohan.
Shri Nishit Mohan is program lead, BIM outsourcing at Tailorbird Inc., a SaaS platform company for the multi-family real estate owners. His diverse entrepreneurship skills are demonstrated through his co-founding of Synapse RNCL Exim Company Private Limited, Graphic Conversion and Software India, and Appice Solutions Private Limited. Shri Nishit Mohan played a key role in establishing the Alum COVID and Medical Support Group, contributing to saving hundreds of lives during COVID. As a lead volunteer in the COVID India initiative, he mobilized critical medical supplies and infrastructure. As the 1989 batch coordinator, he has also been instrumental in supporting fundraising efforts and organizing various initiatives for the institute. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of technology, leadership, strategic delivery, and community engagement, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Nishit Mohan the Distinguished Services Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Sri Nishit Mohan. I would now request Sri Mohan to kindly give acceptance speech.
Good afternoon and namaskar. Shri Adil Zainul Bhai, Padm Shri Professor Manindra Agrawal, Professor Braj Bhushan, Professor Ame Karkare, Professor Jitendra Bera, esteemed faculty, DA, DSA, and young awardees, young alum awardees, and other fellow alumni of IITK, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It's with profound humility and overwhelming gratitude that I stand before you to accept this Distinguished Services Award. To be recognized by the very institution that shaped my mind and ignited my passion for innovation is an honor that words can hardly describe. IIT Kanpur isn't just a place for learning, it is a forge where dreams are tempered into reality. And today this award reminds me of countless sparks of service that light a shared path. Some alums have described it, but I would just elaborate on that. When the 1984 Sikh riots were happening, we heard of so many cases where people couldn't really save Sikhs. But in IITK, I mean, I was in my first year, but we know that we were able to, I mean, there were students guarding with whatever, hockey sticks, cycle chains, whatever. And IIT Kanpur protected those Sikhs. So idea basically what I demonstrated was it's very difficult to describe that situation, but we knew the kind of breakdown of law and order that had happened, but it did not happen in IIT Kanpur because of the kind of legacy. I mean, everybody's talked about it. But I mean, for somebody who's coming from a small town, I'm from Bareilly, and Bareilly used to see countless riots. Every year there used to be riots. And suddenly to come to a city, which is again in UP, and see that kind of self-governance, of the kind of conviction, courage,
was just, it just had such a impression on me that, just the people, how can people, just normal communities and people could make such a big difference. When I stepped first into this campus decades ago, wide-eyed and just armed with little more than curiosity, I could have never imagined the profound ways that this community would basically transform me. Over the years, my work and service, whether undertaking cutting-edge technology projects of the scale and impact that our country needs, or basically the community service that has been fueled by unbreakable spirit of ITK. Again, I don't need to talk about the unbreakable spirit of ITK. So many DA awardees today have described it in so much detail. Basically, it's the late night debates in the hostel corridors, the relentless pursuit of excellence in our classroom, and the quiet resilience of our people that inspired us to give back. To my colleagues who challenged me, to the students who humbled me, the fellow students who humbled me with their brilliance, to my family, my wife Geetika who's here, my daughter Vatsala who's here, my other younger daughter Ananya who's not here, my mother, my parents, my father, they all held the fort while I was chasing these ideals. Thank you. You're the true architects of this moment. This award isn't an endpoint. And okay, let me just give you two other examples. I talked of technology. So the first base map, the navigable map of India that you see, and we use, all of us use on the mobile. The first navigable map of India was created under a team under me in 2006 to 9. It was not allowed in India. You were not allowed to basically bring in, for technical reasons, defense, security reasons. We are not allowed to import the kind of equipment you require. You must have heard of Google Street View cars driving all over Europe, US. We were not allowed. So we built the entire equipment from scratch. And the map had to be accurate up to correct 1 meter. The GPS network is such that in India, during the day, you don't get the kind of accuracy you needed, but we still managed. And of course, the entire thing in terms of handling all the data and all that, we were able to do that. We also, it was mentioned during the COVID time. So that's one example of the community service. So we had almost 1,500 alumni of ITK, basically working day in and day out, trying to save lives, because most of the IIT Kanpur alumni, as people have talked, come from, so IIT Kanpur still attracts very bright, raw talent from tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. And you know the kind of horrific situation we had during Delta wave in UP, Bihar, all those kind of things. And we actually had people working day in and day out, trying to arrange hospital beds, trying to basically organize medical supplies, people trying to get oxygen. And of course, another work that I did during that time was basically to arrange, so I'd started around on 22nd March. 22nd March was the lockdown, 27th I'd started, and kind of arranged around 200 crores of medical supplies, which went to almost 9 states and almost like 2,000 community and primary health centers, starting from N95 masks, PPE. You name it, everything, dry rations, medical kits for rural. We kind of made everything happen. And we were just a bunch of IT guys, IM guys, and doctors putting together. So that's, again, the kind of community, the strength that the Indian people, the normal people, have. And that's why we were able to come out of COVID with such little. Of course, whatever losses we had was significant, but it was the community work at play.
This award isn't an endpoint, it is a guiding light, urging us all to serve with even greater fervor. As we navigate the uncertainties of tomorrow, let us recommit to IIT Kanpur's timeless motto, Tamsoma Jyotirmargya, from darkness lead me to light, embodying knowledge as a force for good, innovation as a bridge to equity, and service as the heartbeat of progress. Thank you once again, Jai Hind, and may IIT Kanpur achieve greater heights in time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to congratulate the Distinguished Service Awardees for their immense contribution to the Institute. युवा शक्ति ही राष्ट्र से आधार है, अर्थात युवा शक्ति ही राष्ट्र की नींव है. As we celebrate the spirit of Yuva Shakti, youthful energy, we now turn our attention to our young alumni whose achievements, leadership, and vision have brought pride to IIT Kanpur and serve as a beacon of inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, this very well defines our next segment of our Young Alumni Award, for which I would like to call upon Professor Karkare to kindly give a brief introduction about the award.
So established in 2019, the Young Alumnus Award celebrates the early achievers of IIT Kanpur, alumni under the age of 40 who have carved a mark for themselves through outstanding accomplishments and meaningful contributions in the formative years of their careers. Since its inception, a total of 13 alumni have been honored with the Young Alumni Award till the year 2024, each representing the promise and potential of IIT Kanpur's young trailblazers.
For our first recipient of YAA, I would like to invite Shri Abhinav Jain to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Shri Abhinav Jain.
Shri Abhinav Jain is the founder and CEO of Shop 101 and pioneered the drop shipping e-commerce sector in India. He launched Shop 101 to enable entrepreneurs to set up online stores without having to manage supply chain operations or invest in holding inventory. He has also set up and scaled the e-commerce platform Roposo Cloud. Shri Abhinav Jain actively mentors startup founders, investing in more than 20 startups, and has spoken about entrepreneurship at various forums. He has also been involved in many social causes, especially around education. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of entrepreneurship, innovation, and startup mentorship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Shri Abhinav Jain the Young Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Shri Abhinav Jain. I would now request Shri Abhinav Jain to kindly give acceptance speech.
Good evening, everyone. Director Professor Manindra Agrawal, Chief Guest Mr. Zainal Adul Bhai, Adil Zainal Bhai, sorry for that. Dignitaries on the dais, faculty members, fellow awardees, my dear friends, family members. I stand here with a lot of gratitude and a lot of joy. IIT Kanpur has always been, it's always stood for excellence. I grew up in the city of Kanpur, and what did excellence mean? It basically meant IIT Kanpur, right? And to be standing here is a matter of great pride and gratitude for me. And not to mention that my father also passed out of the same institute, 1976 Electrical. So it means a lot for me to be standing here. Thank you, IIT Kanpur. I think as I reflect back on my journey, and if I had to quickly summarize what really I took away, I think there's only one word that would be able to summarize so many different things that I took away. It would be dreams, right? IIT Kanpur taught me how to dream big. When I was building my platforms, Shop 101, Roposo Cloud, the thought always was to how do I scale it big, right? How do you provide employment to tens of thousands? How do you look at serving millions of customers. So IIT Kanpur always taught me to dream big. And that's the one key takeaway today when I advise other startup founders is that please dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, what's the point of dreaming? The other thing that IIT Kanpur taught me is not only to dream big, but to go out and achieve those dreams. And it also taught me that it was okay to make mistakes, but you still had to keep going, right? You could have a grade point of 9 in one semester. You could have a grade point of 6 in the next semester. You have to keep going. You could be the hottest startup, multiple rounds of investment happening in your startup in whatever, a matter of few months, and then nobody wants to talk to you. You have to keep going, right? This cycle felt very, very familiar. IIT Kanpur taught me the resilience, humility, and the ability to compete at the highest level, and yet keep going. I think before I close, I would want to thank my village. All of this is not possible without my village. Would like to thank my mentors, teachers, professors, and my friends, family, partners, and customers who've stood by me. In particular, my co-founders, Kalpak and Aditya, who helped me build the platform and our teams, and to Naveen Tiwari for the partnership. More importantly, my family, right? My parents who ignited the spark and nurtured it early on. My uncle and aunt who are here today with us and have come here. Thank you so much. And my wife, Tanu, who's played a perfect partner, friend, guide, different roles at different points in time. And to my kids, Anika and Avika, who are watching there on TV, hopefully. The journey has just begun. It promises to be exhilarating. And we'll have fun. Thank you so much, IIT Kanpur. It's really great to be here. Alma Mater is always special. Recognition is always special. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Professor Dinesh Baradiya to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Professor Dinesh Baradiya.
Professor Dinesh Baradiya is an associate professor in the ECE department and is inaugural Klein Gilhausen Chancellor's Endowed Faculty member with an affiliate appointment with the CSE department at the University of California, San Diego. During his PhD at Stanford, Professor Dinesh solved a long-standing open problem in wireless, enabling practical in-band full duplex radios. This breakthrough opened new directions across communication theory, RF design and systems, and sparked commercialization. Professor Dinesh Baradiya has received many global recognition, including being named to the Forbes Worldwide 30 Under 30 Sciences list, being a Marconi Young Scholar, featured in MIT Technology Review's Innovators Under 35, receiving the Michael Dukakis Leadership Award, and being a recipient of the Kailath Stanford Graduate Fellowship. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of advancing wireless communication and network sensing and translational research, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Dinesh Baradiya the Young Alumnus Award 2025.
I will now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Professor Dinesh Baradiya. I now request Professor Baradiya to kindly give acceptance speech.
Hello. I'll try to keep it short. I'm deeply humbled and honored to receive Young Alumni Award. It's a very unique feeling to be awarded by your alumni or your alma mater, really, to sort of join the leagues of all the former awardees, right? And I think I'm really delighted to be at this ceremony to see all the distinguished alumni and former and current and see their achievements. It's really very inspiring. Congratulations to all of us and to you more than anything. So I hail from a small town of Ichalkaranji, and it was rare to make to IIT Kanpur, or any IITs for that matter. So my deepest gratitude to my parents for their unwavering support, my wife for recent sacrifices she has been making in the last 7 years, and my brother for all the advice to deal with the world, right? Extended family support to support my non-traditional path of becoming professor in a family of all entrepreneurs, right? So my dad and Tauji are here. Thank you so much. And my local guardian, Mamaji, and his family is also here. Thank you, Mamaji, Mamiji. So I think I'll maybe mention few names and try to close it quick. I had a very phenomenal experience where in my hometown, there is a professor, Gupta sir. He inspires everybody to self-teach themselves and prepare for JEE, right? I think he was the one who inspired to be curious, rigorous, and persistent. And this habit made me carry through IIT JEE and also IIT Kanpur. And if anything, IIT Kanpur has reinforced this entire sort of philosophy in me. I think at Stanford, when I started, I went to my, I think I want to make one more important, AKC. He was a great communications teacher. And he was the one who truly motivated us to pursue communications. And when I went to Stanford, I went to my advisor, and the first thing I said to him, give me the most hardest problem you have got, right? And he said, here is an open problem, right? And you know, for his surprise, I did solve it, right? And we started a company and a bunch of other things together, and it's fantastic, I think. And this is all possible because of the training and all the courage I received from this institute, right? And the trust in it. With that, thank you, everyone, and congratulations to everyone here as well. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Dr. Ishan Chattopadhyay to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Dr. Ishan Chattopadhyay.
Dr. Ishan Chattopadhyay is an associate professor of computer science at Cornell University. His research is in theoretical computer science, focusing on computational complexity, the role of randomness in computation, and cryptography. His work has been recognized with a number of awards, including the recent Gödel Prize, shared with David Zuckerman, for their influential research on randomness extraction, and the National Academy of Science Held Prize, as well as honors such as a Sloan Research Fellowship, an NSF Career Award, and a Best Paper Award at Stock. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of secure computing, foundations of cryptography, and theoretical computer science, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Ishan Chattopadhyay the Young Alumni Award 2025.
I now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Dr. Ishan Chattopadhyay. I would now request Dr. Chattopadhyay to kindly give acceptance speech.
I'm really, truly humbled and honored to be here. It's almost surreal to be in this amazing group of people. It's really inspiring. So I'll try to keep it short. Coming to IIT Kanpur was a dream. And I remember how happy my father has joined me here. How happy he was when I decided to, join IIT Kanpur. He actually scribbled IIT Kanpur CSE on the door of my, in the apartment that we lived in. So it was a joyous occasion. Of course, I did not know anything about computer science. I just took computer science because it was a cool thing to take. But then I came here and I learned so much, that there's a deep theory of computer science. I heard from someone that there was a professor here who had solved a problem that the Greek mathematicians were talking about. And I was like, okay, I should at least meet this person. And then when I learned that Professor Agrawal was teaching me algorithms, and he was the person who found this algorithm, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to attend every lecture that he's going to teach. So it was amazing to learn algorithms and also get the courage to, tackle difficult problems. So it was really inspiring to be among people who were, achieving excellence at the international level. It gave me a lot of confidence that, maybe it's possible. My peers were amazing and inspiring and smart and gave me all sorts of things to learn, challenge myself, have a lot of fun in these 4 years that I spent here. And that translated into me, trying hard problems, trying to solve difficult problems in, computer science and have some amount of success. I'm right now a professor at Cornell, and I try to, attain a similar spirit there. So with that, I will finish by deeply thanking, people who have made this journey possible. My father and mother, to whom, I'm deeply grateful for inspiring curiosity, joy, and everything in, life that's worth pursuing. And also, I'm deeply grateful to my wife, Saubhagya, who is not here but watching from New York with my 2-year-old daughter, Meera. And also for all the love and gratitude, spoiling that I get from my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. May I now invite Sri Bhavesh Mittal to kindly come up on stage and Professor Karkare to read out the citation for Sri Bhavesh Mittal.
Sri Bhavesh Mittal is a partner with McKinsey & Company, serving clients with advanced industries across India, SEA, Japan, Europe, and North America. He was elected partner in 2023 with the fastest trajectory globally, thereby becoming one of the youngest and fastest elected partners at McKinsey & Company. He is a trusted advisor to CEOs, an expert in new age GTM solutions, D2C, e-commerce acceleration, and digitizing traditional channels. He also led the IITK Vision 2030 strategy, a pro bono effort demonstrating deep commitment to the development of his alma mater, IIT Kanpur. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of strategic leadership, in business transformation, and go-to-market innovations, IIT Kanpur confers upon Sri Bhavesh Mittal the Young Alumni Award 2025.
I would now request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate Sri Bhavesh Mittal. I would now request Sri Bhavesh Mittal to kindly give acceptance speech.
Thank you. I guess I'm the final act of the evening. But sitting over there and watching all the dignitaries speak, sharing their experiences, hearing their citations, I think there are two thoughts which are going in my mind. One, of course, there was a lot of awe, there was a lot of inspiration, a lot of pride, the kind of pride which fills your chest. Wow, there are some people within the same institute who have done such great things. And at the same time, I was also wondering, why am I in this list, right? I mean, there's a question mark in my mind, maybe there was a mess up in Dora office, and eventually it's a mistake. But here I am, and I'm very grateful to IIT Kanpur to consider me worthy for this recognition. It's a validation of what I've been doing over the past decade or so, and also is a source of inspiration for me to continue on that path. There are multiple sets of people and institutions I would like to thank, starting obviously with my foundation on this foundation day, which is my family. I have my mother over here in person. I want to thank her for, of course, unconditional love and sacrifice. That's what mothers do. But she did her master's in modern physics, and she actually taught me the last chapter of this iconic book, Concepts of Physics 2 by H.C. Verma. On the back of that, I cleared JEE. And she could have had a flourishing academic career, like most of her peers,
but she chose taking care of me and my younger sister. So, I mean, it's a very special moment for me to receive this award in front of you, Mami. I have my father who is watching this online. He's very active in the group. When will you come next? You know, so I'm very thankful to him. He's my biggest advisor. I have my younger sister who is also watching online. She has been my biggest cheerleader, and vice versa. Now there's a role reversal which is happening. I have my wife over here, Ritika. She has been my best friend for the past 10 years. And I also thank IIM Bangalore where I met her. And thankfully I met her before anyone else. She was in my section. So thank you. And I have a very special member today who has joined us. He's my 2 months old kid. This is his first flight which he has taken from Delhi. He has left our house for the first time and he has made the trip to Kanpur. I'm so glad he was here at IIT Kanpur. Obviously, the professors in my department have already given him a challenge that 17 years later, we want to see you here. No pressure. But yeah, I mean, a very, very special moment. I also want to thank IIT Kanpur for taking care of that 18-year-old boy, you know, very impressionable, very young, away from home. This was my home. 2, 3 things which I picked up over here. I think one was raising the aspiration, I mean, for self and for others. And it's something which is very helpful to me in what I do in my profession. You know, you raise the aspiration of the senior leaders and eventually embark on transformations. When I had joined, for me, just getting here was a big deal. I was very okay to be a 8-point someone, an average guy out there on the sideline, lurking. I was okay with that. But there was this one senior, very well-intentioned senior who came to me and asked, Bhavesh, are you giving 100%? Is this the best version of yourself which you're bringing every day? And of course, the answer was no. And that made me think. And of course, one thing led to the another. I was sitting in Hall 3 quad, and I told my wing that is semester ke baad, every semester will be 10. And that's what I did. Similarly, there are multiple such experiences which right now come to my mind. We never thought in our table tennis team we'll ever win inter-IIT medal. We were a great team, but we were notoriously infamous for choking at the right moments. For the past 10 years, there was no medal. I told my team that, boss, before I graduate, can you please do that? I mean, we'll do whatever it takes. Finally, in our 4th year, we could do that. But the reason why I'm telling this is not about some of these small accomplishments, but more about, I don't think I was the smartest budding chemical engineer. I don't think I was the best table tennis player, but I had the boldest ambition and I had the wherewithal to pursue. I think that's what I've continued eventually. I also am very thankful to professors to instill that deep and critical thinking, which I feel is very helpful and very important in today's world, which is getting obsessed over speed and agility. I'm very thankful for professors to be extremely kind with us back then. I mean, some of the times, you know, missing classes, being late in classes, we had discussions today and we realized your side of the story. Thank you for being so kind back in the day. I'm thankful to IIM Bangalore for infusing maturity and professionalism in me. And very thankful to an institution I've been a part of for the past 8 years, which is McKinsey, to introducing me with this notion of distinctiveness. Whatever you do, be distinctive. Thank you. The opportunity to create impact for several clients, including some work with IIT Kanpur, and just to keep myself humble, because I'm usually surrounded by people who are much more smarter than me. So thank you all. Lastly, I would just say, IIT Kanpur has a great legacy, but as a great institution, there's still work to be done. And we have discussed that over the past couple of days. In whatever small capacity I can do my bit, I'm very, very happy to do that and would look forward to any potential collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We extend our heartfelt congratulations to all the awardees on their remarkable achievements. संकल्प से सिद्धि अर्थात जब संकल्प अटूट हो तो सफलता निश्चित है. Ladies and gentlemen, these awards reflect the inspiring journey from resolution to accomplishment, and this day celebrates the spirit of excellence, service, and inspiration that defines our alumni community. You all make us immensely proud. Please give a big round of applause to all the awardees. With this, ladies and gentlemen, Like all beautiful things end, we too have come to the end of the 66th Institute Foundation Day ceremony. As the saying goes, Kritagyata Sarvottama Sanskriti. Gratitude is the highest culture. Arthat, Kritagyata hi Sarvottam Sanskriti hai. On this note of thankfulness, may I request Professor Brij Bhushan, Deputy Director, to kindly deliver a vote of thanks.
It is my privilege and honor to extend the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion of the 66th Institute Foundation Day of IIT Kanpur. I wish to convey our deepest appreciation to everyone who has, in countless ways, contributed to the success of today's celebration. We are deeply honored by the presence of Shri Adil Janulbhai. Heartiest congratulations to all Institute Fellows and Alumni awardees, both present here and joining us virtually. Our sincere gratitude to our Director, Professor Mahendra Agrawal, and to all my colleagues and staff of IIT Kanpur and IIT Kanpur Development Foundation for their tireless efforts and seamless coordination in organizing this celebration. I also thank Ms. Renu Chauhan, Mr. Yash Bharadwaj, and Mr. Devanand Pathak. And finally, our deepest gratitude to our alumni, donors, and well-wishers across the world. Your enduring faith, generosity, and affection continues to strengthen the legacy and spirit of IIT Kanpur. Thank you all for being part of this celebration and for joining us in honoring the remarkable journey of this great institution. I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, everyone. We now request all our awardees to kindly come forward for the group photograph session. First, we'll begin with Young Alumni awardees. I request all the Young Alumni awardees to please come forward for the photograph. May I now invite all Distinguished Service awardees. Distinguished Service awardees, please come up on the stage. We now request all the Distinguished Alumni awardees to kindly come forward. All the distinguished alumni awardees, please come up on the stage. Hi. And now may I invite all the bodies, Institute Fellow, DA, DSA, and YA to come together for a grand group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, high tea is served outside. You're requested to please join for the refreshments. Outside, in the patio. With this, we come to the conclusion of today's ceremony. We now conclude this function with the hearts full of gratitude and pride.